Okie dokie. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Money Pigs Livecast. This is episode 73. We're going to talk about Dawngate stuff. How's everybody doing tonight?
Awesome.
Excellent.
Very nice.
Excellent.
We've got a very special guest with us this evening from
Guys,
Team...
I'm here every week. I don't understand me.
Besides the Blue Muzzy, who is always so very special, we have got a member of Live Free, Dive Hard, PorkCh0p, coming off their really strong showing in the Proving Grounds 5v5 Grand Prix. That was yesterday, and the LFDH came in and did a really nice job. They finished second place. Our boy PorkCh0p was a big part of that finish, even though he didn't end up playing in the finals. He had to go to work. But either way, we've got him here with us, and he's going to give us a little bit of feedback from his perspective of the event and just competitive Dawngate in general. But we've also got to talk about some other things first.
Oh, yeah.
First and foremost being lore and the chronicles and the ever ongoing saga. I feel like we've been on Zeri and Renzo for 2 months straight.
I'm tired of them.
I mean,
Dude,
ever since the Chronicles came back, we've been on Zeri and Renzo, and it's
Yeah.
just continuing on them. We saw where they were currently, and now we're getting a flashback. But it's okay, because this is like the whole living lore vote that we're finally seeing come to fruition. But yet it's... Yeah, we're still on Zeri and Renzo, though.
I feel so bad because like literally this week's and like a little bit last week is finally like the Shapers using their powers, and I don't care that it's still Renzo and Zeri because it's like it's awesome again because they're like doing wacky shit.
And
Really?
like desaturated.
Yeah, I don't know. I loved it. I
Yes.
like that. I like that she's like learning how to use her powers by accident. She's like, "Shut up!" You just like, I don't know. You didn't like it? I liked it.
I find this arc the most boring arc that we've gone through. I mean,
It was boring,
even the
man.
payoff of the Cog and Zeri thing, the Bandit Hustle, is just
haters.
really boring.
Haters, man.
They're-
Haters.
They're just running away. I mean, okay, first of all, the only cool thing is, holy shit, she attacked Renzo.
Yeah.
Like in 83, in number 83,
Yeah.
she attacked Renzo. She fucking threw paint at him and he brought up a rock. I mean, not that paint's gonna, do much, but she
It would have lowered his
distracted
magic
him.
resist.
Sure. Yeah, right, exactly. she threw paint at him and he threw up his shield, and that was cool. And then I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe she attacked Renzo for this guy. Like that doesn't make any sense to me at all."
It makes sense to me because Zeri is like, she's a young, precocious...
Like impulsive.
Yeah, and she's like, hey, she wants to be this badass person, right? She wants to have that kind of edge, but it's kind of like, when the time comes for her to be that, she gets, she doesn't really know how. It's like, when they're on their first mission and like the main character tells the person on the first mission, like, oh, is that your first kill? And like, and she wants to prove herself and seem like a big, she's in the presence of this tough bandit sand pirate, and she's like, I can be a tough bandit sand pirate too. And she's like, oh, I'm kind of throwing my spells at Renzo, but I don't really want
Right.
to, and I feel weird about it. Even in today's panel, when she used desaturate, which it took me a minute, I'm like, what did she do to him? And I'm like, oh, he looks muted in color. I'm like, oh, she silenced him. Where's the potency proc? How come he didn't get hit by lightning?
Right.
But yeah, she's using her abilities, but she doesn't quite know how strong she is, and I think it kind of scares her a little bit too. She still is, a young, kind-hearted person who's just going through a little bit of her teenage rebellious phase. So
Yeah. As much as that's true, I just want to know. I want the interaction between her and Kagen. The escape didn't matter to me as much as like learning a little bit about them. This is very hollow for me. It's very superficial. You get to see her using her abilities, and I haven't learned anything new about her and Kagen. And I want to learn. Like right now, he doesn't have an arm. He's missing his arm. His mechanical arm is gone right now, and it has been. And I want to see him get it back. Why is it off? Like what's going on?
PorkCh0p, don't let the crowd,
I had to.
don't let them
Yeah.
dictate your actions.
They asked. He had to do it.
Gun is so cute.
PorkCh0p, I mean, I usually like to ask the pro players their interpretation of the lore. I mean, are you the kind of guy who likes to follow the lore? Do you get hype about the Chronicles and the living lore votes and stuff like that?
I watch it I look at the Chronicles every now and then, but it's not as important to me, I guess. But it's kind of cool just to keep up with it. I really like this. I really like this week's. I
See,
love the Zeri. I loved it.
I liked it too, and I really like how Renzo is. He's like pulling stuff like right out of Full Metal Alchemist, like making the ground shoot him up into the air and stuff like that, and kind of observing everything from afar. You really get a sense for what his shaping ability is and the way he can manipulate stone and everything else like that around him, and it is kind of cool. You get to see like, oh wow, just how strong Renzo is, and you know, get a little more depth to his abilities and whatnot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was hilarious when he just shot that thing way up in the air, and he doesn't say shit. He doesn't look at, or he's just watching, right? He doesn't like,
Yeah.
he's just like lurking. I just thought it was so funny. Like you can like barely see it in the background of the first panel. He's just hanging out. I thought it was awesome.
Peeping Renzo.
It was hilarious. Like he's just like a little speck in the background. You're like, oh, he's there. I don't know. I much prefer this style of them using their powers and learning that they have powers, rather than like, you know, random like, oh look, a spirit just flew next to Kel. Like, you know, that stuff was too quick and too boring. Now they're fighting and they're learning how to fight and becoming who they are in the game. I thought it was really cool.
The other thing that kind of takes the sense of urgency away from what we're seeing right now is it's a flashback, and we've seen Zeri and Renzo after this event, so we know nothing crazy is going to happen. It's not like either of them are going to accidentally mortally wound one another because they're on an adventure currently. So it's not like they're going to go back and then have this big moment where like Renzo accidentally like puts his fist through Zeri's stomach, like that kind of thing. Like we know that isn't going to happen. And you lose some of that with the fact
Well,
that
you
it's a
don't know
flag.
that.
I
What if
mean,
he
we-
did, and then he used rock to like shape it and fill in the wound?
It would
then
actually
they
be
have to see
amazing.
Yeah, and
It
then
would be
they have to
amazing,
see the
though.
tribe because they need to like heal this wound. You don't know that.
But she's like up and moving around on the boat and seems fine, and they've made no mention of it up until
Yeah,
now.
it's a secret.
I honest to God though, I would love if they killed one of the characters and then like revive them and show that like the Dongate could revive people, but like leave it as a cliffhanger. Be like, oh shit, like that person just died. What are the implications? And then on Monday they're like, just kidding, it was all a dream. She respawned over there.
Respawn
Like
timers.
they could mess with us for sure.
But yeah, so like we see them, Zeri and Kagan are running away and escaping. Renzo's watching them. Now, I really don't know where it's gonna go from here. I guess they're gonna get to the outskirts of the city or something. They're gonna have a little heart to heart, and then Zeri's just gonna go back to Renzo. But I don't know what else is gonna happen. Really, what like pivotal event? Like where's like the crux of this story gonna really be?
I don't know.
I think it's them all coming together to like discuss what's happening in the world and where it's coming from.
Well, because Renzo had that reveal thing where he gave Zeri the graffiti handkerchief in the arc that we're on, but in the present timeline. So
Right.
he can't interact with them any more than he really already has, because she's been under the impression that he had no idea that it was
Right.
even her, and that's why she has that realization when he hands her the handkerchief. She's like, oh shit, he knows. So
Yeah.
if Renzo's gonna interact with anything in this Zeri Kagan storyline, it's gonna be perched on a rock watching things from afar. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what we have to assume.
I feel like they're gonna wrap it up pretty soon. Like she's gonna get out of the town. He's gonna be like say something snippy, like, you know, really cool, like something Lando Calrissian would say, and then like take off. I think that's how it's gonna play out. I think it'll be done by this week for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is kind of my point to like, it's kind of feels hollow. We won the lore thing, the living lore thing, and this is all we get.
Well, I think this living lore was probably the most shallow living lore that there could have
Yeah.
been. They're like, what way does he leave the city, and that's it. And what kind of sucks is that's the only living lore we've gotten in quite some time.
Right.
So for it to be so shallow, it definitely sucks.
Yeah, just it's fallen short of my expectations, I guess.
Yeah.
I want some more lore skins. I like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
lore-based skins.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
It would be cool. I guess they're technically retconning these graffiti Zeri skin, and now it's a lore skin.
That's
When that-
cheating.
It is
That's
cheating.
cheating.
But it
Really
is. I mean, they did tie that in now because when Graffiti Zeri came out months ago, we were just like, oh, this is just a cool, like, fun kind of skin that's not really tied into the lore. Because there's always been that discussion with Waystone about should they do more lore-based skins, or is there space for like fun, lighthearted skins, like Dunkmaster, Darius, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Cat Bus went into the game and no one complained, so I think they've got carte blanche or whatever you call it.
But
to do what-
it seems they have more fun with the more fun type shapers, like the Hootans have the most wacky
Yeah.
skins to this point.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I don't mind. Dark Cerulean is coming. That's all that
No,
matters.
yeah,
God.
give me that winged cerulean.
I'm so excited.
I can't wait to see Cerulean in every game. That's just mwah.
Doesn't bother
Love
me.
it.
The more melees, the better. Um,
And that's getting soon too. They said that it's like coming in an upcoming cycle, so
Yeah.
get
2
hyped.
weeks?
I guess. 2 weeks. Well, next patch is next week.
That's true. Yeah.
it should be
Small patch though. Nothing too exciting.
nothing too
Balance.
exciting.
Nothing big.
Yeah, Waystone's been a little. It's been a little quiet on the Waystone front as far as
Yeah.
announcements. So I have to imagine that they're like hard at work getting ranked ready for everybody because that's going to be a big deal when that drops. So I'm sure they're focusing a lot of their attention on getting all that stuff together. It'd be nice if we had a little more information to speculate on. We really have
Mm-hmm.
zero idea of what ranked is going to be. We've sat here and speculated on it for weeks, but we still have gotten no information whether it's
Well, it all comes down to the fluff, right? We know draft mode, and
Yeah.
we know that it's going to be ranked, but they haven't told us the package that they're going to wrap it around it. And I think
Mhm.
that's what's got people curious more than anything. Like
New friends list.
friends list. What?
That'd be great. A new friends
no.
list. That'd be great.
The design of it just looks like it doesn't fit.
it doesn't
looks
fit
like it fit.
anymore.
Yeah, it fits the old client, but with the whole revamp, it just doesn't fit.
Yeah, I'm just glad. I mean, look, the friends list is working, and
Yeah,
it's not
it's actually-
bugging
It does
out
work.
after one game. So like
Except
we harped on that for a very long time, and now it's
except
not.
being invisible does not work.
Oh, I
Yeah,
never
this
tried
is
that.
Awkward.
I always thought like Zekint in like Q or something. I'm like, I see you. I don't really see you because I can't message you, but
I'm
I know.
sniping you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't even know that option was there. So does it not work at all, or?
It
So,
you'll
like-
still appear like halfway in your friends list, invisible.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
So it's
So it achieves
translucent,
nothing.
not really.
It's a D&D button because you can't send messages to them.
okay.
But-
Well, that's halfway there. Halfway there.
Yeah.
It's
Halfway.
something. But as of gameplay stuff, I guess we're gonna do an open discussion a little bit later on. But we do have a little bit of esports stuff to talk about.
Esports.
There was an event yesterday. I don't know if any of you caught it, but it was a little event called the Proving Grounds Grand Prix. I thought it went pretty well considering it was my first attempt at running such an event. I've participated in events, but I haven't really run
Not
one.
only run, but like created. That was all you.
Well, I mean, it wasn't all me. I had a lot of help from people making logos. I had people making me overlays because I am not artistically inclined in the least bit. But I got some really good help from some awesome people, and everything worked out pretty well for the most part. So
I gotta admit, when the stream turned on and then immediately turned off, I was like, oh boy.
yeah, I was like, here we go, all day this is gonna happen. But thankfully, it was just literally the first 3 minutes I had a lag spike, but then from that point on it was smooth sailing. And I mean, we got the whole thing wrapped up. 14 teams, 16 signed up, 2 didn't show up. Bob
Tisk,
Wow.
tisk.
and
What?
yeah, and but we got the whole thing wrapped up and right around like the 7-hour mark, and that's pretty That's pretty
I was-
nice, in my
I was
opinion.
really impressed with how efficiently you ran it, and like it was mostly kind of not winged, but like
Well, yeah.
you guys all play your first round matches, report back for round 2, and it just like happened.
hmm
Everything, and you guys started the semifinals after like 2 hours, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. This proves that you could do like a 1-day 16-team tournament with like no issues. It was incredible,
And
and
and for all the talk about best of ones and how teams, don't think they're fair or anything like that, like show me a best of 3 that goes 3 games. I'm seriously, and not taking away from anyone or anything like that, but like I've
That
literally
versus
done
Bob.
3 tournaments, and not a single one have I seen a game go 3 games.
I was
Yeah.
expecting the finals to go 3 games, and my team threw pretty hard.
I was
Second
expecting
game.
it too there for a
Yo,
minute.
you guys were gonna win, and then you guys just lost.
Ah,
I honestly like
Ugh.
I thought you guys were going to at least 1-2 the finals. I still had Surreal Gaming as the winners, but like once you guys had put up such a good showing in the first 3 rounds, I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a good finals. And then I don't know.
Have to go
But
to
then I
work.
ditched, and team fell
Yeah.
apart.
Pork
yeah.
chop left, and then the morale went out the window.
Report
Well-
Pork AFK.
I thought the team in general played reasonably well even without you, but it seemed like in the first 3 rounds you had really stepped up. If you don't mind me saying,
No,
you looked
everyone,
good.
everyone on the team knows it.
So yeah, when I heard you guys were getting a sub for the last round and that they were subbing you, I was like,
I'm like, that's the
Lost.
one guy I don't think they can sub, but
Lost boys.
oh well.
but I mean they played well. I mean it wasn't like it could have been worse. I think.
Well, I mean, so Pork Chop, give us a little history on LFDH. I mean, you guys couldn't play in the last sick note. You had a disappointing showing in Race to the Gate. So like, what was your mindset going into the shake your head at that Race to the Gate mention. But I mean, like seriously, what were your guys' mindset going into the event yesterday? Were you like, hey, we don't really care what happened, like let's just try and win a game? Like, did you guys think you could actually win the whole thing, or like where what was like the mindset of the team?
Honestly, I think after the race of the gate, we were just trying to get pushed through that first game in the best of ones, because we know once we get past all the cheese and everything, that we should be able to do better in the best of 3s. Because I think that's where we're a lot better and shine. But after I had to leave, I was kind of upset that I couldn't play in it.
Well, because you guys, I mean, besides Surreal Gaming, you guys were playing the best out of all the teams in the tournament. It was you guys in Surreal. Like, I'm glad you guys were the finals match, because you both of you the teams deserved to be there just based off the play that I saw. And I have to say, you guys really impressed me. I thought you guys had really nice cohesion. You guys coordinated your ults like really well in a couple of those fights in the earlier games, and I was like, man, LFDH came to play today. So I mean, what changed for you guys? Was it a scrim schedule? Did you practice more or less? Did you change roles around? We know like BOB had more success when Tulsa and 50 swapped roles. Is that something you guys did? Like, I'm not super familiar with your guys' play style, but was
Yeah,
there
I think
anything you
it-
could attribute the success to?
I think our biggest thing that happened was that we swapped Myanhei and Prime Knight. It's from their support and AD carry, because I feel like Prime can make a
So
lot
you can
better
actually
plays.
win a lane.
I feel like he can make a lot more plays playing support than he could playing AD carry. So that helped. And then we did a lot more practicing and scrims on our level 1s, because our level 1s were awful. We were so confused half the time on what to do that we would just run around in circles, pinging different places, and then eventually dying.
Well, do you guys so do you guys have a dedicated shot caller, or is that not something you've done, or is that something you tried, or does it just kind of go with the flow, and whoever makes the calls for that game, you just kind of let it happen organically?
We're trying to figure all that out. We're getting better at it. We're getting better at a lot of the things that are important, like keeping timers and focusing people when it needs to be. But we're still kind of, since we haven't been playing together too long, it's kind of new to us, and we're practicing out different things.
Nice. It's good to see. I mean, obviously something's working. You guys did a really nice job. How about your feel on the way the competitive scene is shaking out? Do you feel like you guys can can win any game you're in, or are there certain things that you feel like need to be changed before it makes it a more even playing field, if that makes any sense? Is the game designed in a way that now you guys feel like you can be competitive in every game you're in, unless something ridiculous happens, like you get aced trying to take a parasite or something, and you get down 10 kills early on? But like, do you feel the state of the game is such that you can have competitive games at the high level and have it not always be stomps? Because I mean, the LFDH Surreal Gaming in the game 2 of the finals, that was like one of the longest games I've commentated. It was around 50 minutes, and it was very back and forth, and either team could have won. So, what do you guys think?
I think I like how everything's going, and I think it's not too bad. And as long as we don't completely throw, because we've done a lot of throwing in the past in certain team fights and everything. But I don't know. It feels good, and our team needs to step up on their scrimming, because we have really bad schedules, and
Yeah, they
a
also
lot
have
of us
really
can't.
bad scheduling.
Yeah, that's true too. We don't talk about that though. But I don't know. As long as we can keep playing and keep focusing on what's going well for us, we should be able to do things properly and be a team to be reckoned with.
Nice.
Force to be reckoned.
It's good to hear. Tulsa, what were your? I mean, I know you guys didn't play, but do you have any takeaways from the event yesterday that you saw? You were doing the lazy cast for some of the matches.
I basically backseat gamed because I was like, why is the team doing this? It's like, oh my god, you could be getting this right now, but you're not getting it. So I was just being a backseat gamer, basically.
My
But
favorite kind of
I
gamer.
know, man. It's John's favorite. He goes into chats and is like, yo, why are you doing this?
What? I don't do that. No, I go into chat and sarcastically praise people when they make awful plays. That's my MO.
Yeah, but I think Dongye is pretty good. Like, you just have to figure out when to group. Like, certain team comps have certain power spikes that you need to hit. Like, I see a lot of team comps, they have like this sick team comp, but they just never group, and then they kind of just die. And I'm like, wow, you just never got to play your game. And that's like applicable to a lot of teams. And then there are a lot of teams where, like, I was watching CDR, and that's like a really, really new team. So like when I watched that game against LFDH, I was like, wow, if CDR just played more, this might have been like maybe a 3-match like type of game. So gone all 3 games, but they didn't really play that much, and LFDH just executed better. So it was eventually a 2-0.
And I also think LFDH taking Basco away from Mango was a big.
Yeah, it was huge.
Yeah, you guys had him scouted nicely. Mango. I mean, I was CDR was one of the teams I was watching too, because I know a lot of those players, and I'm like, ooh, this combination of people. I'm like, I think these guys could make some waves. So I was really interested in that matchup with CDR and LFDH. But you guys clearly had the better organization and experience on your side. But CDR would, I think, for the next tournament, maybe this weekend's. Though I don't know if they're going to be in the Dignitas one. I don't even know. Have we gotten all 8 teams announced yet?
4 of them haven't been announced yet.
We're still waiting on the 4 other teams. But
yeah. Exactly.
But like CDR is one of those teams that in the future I'll be like, oh, they could be the LFDH of this tournament, where it's like these are all good players, and if they can get it together, they could go on a run and really surprise some people. So
yeah,
there was a lot of. I was gonna say there's a lot of teams that were relatively new that featured like a lot of leaderboards players this time. I was kind of curious to see how many would step up and like really take it to some of the experienced teams if that was possible. But from what I heard being reported in chat, it was like, oh, this game ended in 17 minutes. This game ended in 20 minutes. Like it seemed like they were pretty one-sided.
Like LFDH stepped up this tournament, but like Based got beat up by LFDH. Although I heard some stuff about like DCing or something like that. But like I don't know. Like LFDH won the first game. That's like testament to them like already stepping up, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. Like we'll see the next tournament, because the next tournament is the Dignitas tournament, and I think Base is in that one. Like it's one of the announced teams.
Base TMP4 and both REs.
REs, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see in that tournament if they do better, which I think they can do. Like it's not like they're bad players.
No, not at all.
They just got to get their act together. I think they'll do well.
Do you guys know the format of that tournament? I saw it was single
I have no
elimination,
idea.
but I don't know if it was best of 1 or best of 3.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know about the rounds.
I'm casting it,
just
and I
know
don't
it's
even
single.
know.
That's
Okay,
good.
well, I'm sure we'll find out soon.
As soon as I know, you guys will. I'll tell you that much. But all I know is that I'm casting it, and that's it. I sometimes I come back to messages from the Dignitas guy on Skype, but he's in Germany or wherever. So like,
Yeah,
it's always we just send messages for each other to see. But
it'll probably be the same format as Race to the Gate. It's kind of like the format that you should go off, I
Yeah.
think. And I think every tournament will be standardized sooner or later. So
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, I feel like with with an 18 tournament, I feel like you could probably do best of 3 the whole way through, because as long as you play them in parallel,
that's true.
it like
that's the thing. Do you want every game streamed, or do you want every game best of 3? That's the kind of decision you have to make.
Yeah,
well, I like the way. I mean, you guys eliminated 8 teams while only streaming one of the games, which I mean, obviously, sure, maybe if I wanted to watch VODs, but like, there's no way I want to watch 8 different round of 1 teams. Especially seems like half of them are going to be stomps and half of them are no shows. Like, maybe an off stream or 2 for the round of 16. But like, to be completely honest, I just want to watch the main stream and I want to get through that round as quickly as possible and get to the good. I don't want to say get to the good teams, but like get to the experienced teams that are more than likely going to give a really good match against each other. So, like, yeah,
yeah.
best of threes would be way more better than casting every single round of 8 game.
Were the quarters in this game? I mean, yesterday's tournament, were they best of threes?
No.
No,
Or the
best
best
of
of
one.
ones? Okay.
Yeah. But the thing is, if you have a round of 16, getting through 2 best of 1s with a round of 16
It's
is 2
basically like
games,
best of threes.
right? But if you have a round of 8 with a best of 3, you'll probably have 2 games, and then some of them might have 3. So like at
Yeah.
most, you're adding an hour to the tournament.
Yeah, exactly.
Versus Torp's style of 16, which went 7 hours for a 16 team tournament, which was incredibly well done.
Yeah. As long as it doesn't end at 6 a.m., it's pretty good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's all growing pains too, right? Like, I don't expect whatever format the next stick note uses. I mean, that long tournament was like our first Dongate major tournament, right? So,
Yeah.
Yeah. It was also the tournament where the other people got like they were up 1 set and not just 1 game, and we had a comeback win. So
Oh, really?
like yeah, we came back, we dropped a game, and then we won 2 games, and then we reset the bracket, and then we won 2 games, and then we're like, oh my god, it's 6 a.m. Let's go to bed. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a time and a place for stuff like that. But I think in general, everything's looking a little more streamlined, which is cool. So yeah, I guess we'll find out soon. We'll have to find out before next week.
Yeah. A couple other things of note that happened in that event. RENA beat REEU for the first time in a tournament, which was nice to see. So that Rare Elixir rivalry is something we're gonna continue to see as these tournaments continue to play out. They're gonna be in the next one this weekend, and I imagine they'll be in the next Sick Note and the next Race to the Gate as well. RENA already qualifying by finishing the top 4 of my event, so they'll definitely be in the next Race to the Gate. So now EU's got to try and catch up. BOB doesn't have a spot yet in the next Race to the Gate. There's a lot of spots left up and a lot of good teams left. So
How many spots are open anyway?
I mean,
Did they
they're
increase
making
it?
it 16. So there's 4 spots from my event, 4 from Dignitas, 4 from the next Sick Note, and then 4 lottery spots.
Oh, I see. Okay, that's how it works. Yeah, I was just confused just now.
So you better show up for the next tournament, son.
Uh-huh. Or just play with just 3 subs and then win it. No problem.
You could do that
Wow.
Hey, I've the ask and win it. I mean, go ahead.
and win it. Other than that, though, I mean, that's all the official stuff we really have to talk about. So, I mean, I'm all for kind of going into a little more free-form discussion just about, like, your guys' takes on the state of the game, shapers that we don't talk about a lot that you want to talk about, or,
Oh, okay. So I was kind of arguing with my team that the change of Salus's stuff is not what made Salas not picked. Generally, it was because the meta shifted to the type of jungler that was like more popular in competitive scene.
Well,
So
that was
like,
one thing I noticed. There was a ton of Moya played yesterday,
yeah,
and
there's like,
I feel like Moya was like forgotten about for like a month, but like
yeah,
people
exactly.
woke up yesterday and were like, "Oh yeah, Moya's still in the game, and she's still really good."
Yeah, you don't know how like there was a series of tournaments where Salas was super popular, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, Salas, 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 Salas." And after Salas happened, it was like everyone's like, "Oh my god, Volek," because Volek can 1v5 everyone. Volek is super super good, and now everyone's like, "Yo, let's pick Moya."
Well, I mean, to be fair, Salas and Volek both got nerfed last patch. I mean, that's
Yeah,
the thing
Right,
that happened.
but it's the
But-
same thing that happens with a lot of things. They get nerfed, and people think, "Oh, they're shit now," but they're not.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, I
it's
mean,
just
really.
that's how people treat MOBA characters. They're either
Right.
the best or the worst. There's
Or
no
the
middle
worst,
ground.
yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
balanced ground. It's like adequate. Well, no, you mean shit, right?
Yeah.
So especially in competitive, we see in the LCS for League of Legends, like when people start taking it very seriously, they hone in on like what is going to be the best picks, and you have to become like super good at that pick
yeah,
because you.
it's like
So
Lee and Elise all over again.
right.
Yeah,
I wonder how cyclical Dawngate will be like that, because I mean they have been doing balance patches every 3 weeks at a minimum, with balance patches in between every now and again too. So it seems like
yeah.
there's going to be opportunity for shapers to go from OP to underpowered like overnight, with like a tournament coming up in 5 days,
Mhm.
especially if you don't play in the tournament round.
Mhm.
But then again, like I think Twerp said the tournament realm wasn't even updated for Lilin for this
Nope.
patch. So,
Yeah, I had to change mine at the last minute to the live client because I'm like, Lillian's in the game. Let's see her. Let's see her played in a tournament.
definitely.
And it's
That's
not like
something
there's
that did
any
shock. I really
difference.
thought I was going to see more Lilin or more focus on Lilin, banned more. I mean, I only saw her get picked in 2 games that I casted, and the other times when she was available, she wasn't banned, she wasn't picked. I was a little surprised by that based off the uproar of her perceived power level. I mean, what do you
Yeah.
guys think about that? Was Lilin something you thought about for comps, or is she still too new? You didn't want to mess with it? Like, what do you guys? Because PorkCh0p, you play lots of mages. You like blowing things up. I've definitely lost to your Lilin in solo queues. So I mean, what's the deal with Lilin?
I enjoyed playing her. We played her in first base,
Oh, okay.
and I thought it went really well. Except for I didn't do too well during laning phase, but later I was able to just instantly blow up their Volek during team fights, and it was such a great feeling that you could instantly just take out someone and not have them be a threat for the whole team fight. And I
Sounds
think
like
she still needs some
OP.
nerfs pretty badly.
I know Twitch chat was going crazy with why was Desecrator being left through. Like the previous tournament, Desecrator was like, oh my god, Desecrator, and I just saw in chat this week, everyone's like, what? Why aren't people picking him immediately? Why isn't he getting banned? What changed there?
Hmm.
I don't know. I feel
It's called flavor of the week. I really feel like it's got to be that.
Like
He hasn't changed.
Was Desecrator an amazing pick before, or did it just happen to get played a lot that tournament, or was it played because Volek was being played? I'm asking you guys.
I still think Desecrator is a pretty amazing pick,
Yeah.
but
think
we
Desecrator's
don't
good.
usually pick them because usually my team prioritizes Ashabel for me. And if they do
Gotcha.
pick a Desecrator, I feel like I can dumpster that Desecrator in lane.
As
So,
Ashabel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was one thing that was definitely a theme yesterday, was the fact that every time I saw an Ashabel go up against a melee gladiator, Ashabel won the lane, and that's like, there's nothing you can do. If you play melee gladiator, you just lane swap because you're gonna have a bad time if you try to lane against Ashabel. Is that
Yeah.
something
Or
you
you
guys
put
could
on your fancy
maybe
shoes.
try and do? Is like bait teams, because Desecrator is super popular and a super contested pick. Is that something you could maybe like, let's let them get Desecrator because we've got Ashabel already? We can make their life hell. Or any melee gladiator. Is that something you guys actively look to do, or something you're going to look to do in the future? Because it was apparent to
Well,
me.
usually our scrims and stuff have been going where Ashabel's been banned first by every team I play against. So, but then Desecrator's also banned usually, because I don't want to pick him too early, but I feel like he can be amazing if you blink body someone, just one shot them.
Yep.
It's kind of ridiculous. So I think he can get shut down if you play well, but he can also do really amazingly if you have the right team comp for it.
I think only some teams pick Desecrator, so like it's like a very specific team that only plays it, and you really only ban Desecrator if you know the team plays a good Desecrator in the first place. So if you're playing against like some kind of random team, there's no real point in actually banning Desecrator unless you know they're good with Desecrator, or you have like a team comp that really like
What
where
is the team
Desecrator
comp?
disrupts.
AoE? Is it
No,
like
like-
AoE team comp or
No, you just ban him when you don't want to deal with so much CC. Like that's it.
right? But then what if they pick Kel? Is there
No,
Or you don't care about Cal because he does no damage.
Yeah.
Just
right?
Kel.
You know, comparatively
It's
to
just
yeah,
freaking Kel.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
You just don't care.
You guys think Kel needs
I-
some love?
I think he
I think
does.
melee attacks just need some love. I mean, melee shapers
attacks
just
overall, yeah.
They need to
He's-
just get rid of duress already.
yeah.
Really, you guys are still on that?
Yeah,
Duress
the rest-
is
Well, we
still-
know it's
Duress
being
is
worked
still
on
too
internally.
disruptive.
Flux said during the tournament that duress was being still looked at internally. So I don't know what that
it's
means.
still too disruptive to the game. Like it's
Okay, we had this scrim, and 50 got like a couple kills really early, and he was calm, and he just bought the rest, and he's like, "Hey guys, look at me, I'm so skillful!" And he flourishes forward, auto attacks. He's like, "Oh man, look at my skills! I can't even miss them now!" And then we got kills off that every single time. He's just like, "Yo man, we're so good. I was so good. I'm the best player in the world just by buying this duress." And then later in the game, the Divs bought a duress, and he's like, "Oh man, he countered my duress with his own duress. He is now the best player in the game." It's just like-
Well, it's a thing too, because duress, like out of all the Shapers kits, like King of Masks is perfect
yeah,
for it.
it's perfect.
Like it's literally the stupidest combination duress on King of Masks because of the flourish. So I think that exacerbates the duress problem. And since King of Masks is such a popular pick, same thing. You could even make the same argument for like Dibs because of his, all of his mobility with Dream Rapid stuff. He can just speed himself up, walk up, get that one auto attack off, and then
It's just not. Yeah, it's
you
just
start a
not
fight.
fun to play against.
no
like,
no other item disrupts the game. Like the momentum, the shield on it, it's not that impactful. It can save you a little bit, but it's not as disruptive as duress seems to be.
Yeah,
Oh, without
Yeah.
a doubt.
You know,
My-
like every
my-
other item. Think of another item that's even close as disruptive to the gameplay.
Like Rebirth would be if Pain wasn't.
Sure,
if people-
sure, but it has a counter.
Yeah,
exactly.
and it's a
Yeah.
hard counter. Like there's
Yeah,
times
and
where
there are
you sit on the
multiple-
growth, you don't finish it to Rebirth because they're like, oh shit, they've got a corruption and two
Yeah.
pains. This is a waste of Vim.
Yeah, and there's multiple counters to it as well. So I don't know. It still seems like it's pointless to have in the game. Why would you? This is CC Gate. Why would you have an item that does something so
why
impactful
is it so free? Like,
and so free? Yeah. One hit. Okay, one hit every what? What is it? 8 seconds? 10 seconds? What is the cooldown now? 10. Yeah.
15
it's 15.
with
It can't be
15 with the
reduced.
nerf.
Right.
They should just make
Right.
duress into its own shaper. I'd play that every game.
Passive. It's like,
but
yo,
why
that's
every
not good.
shaper could be a duress shaper?
The only fear I have for when they redo it, and I've got some ideas on how they're going to be working on it, is like I love that item as the counter for assassins, and I'm just worried like it's so good at picking people off, and like that's what sucks. It's like, oh, this guy got an auto attack range, I'm dead. But like when Ferris does his stupid combo, like I feel like it's like the only way to stop it with certain shapers, and like that niche pick, I'm just worried that it's not going to be there anymore from an itemization perspective. Like the only other thing you could build as a support to really help out your squishies is like a devotion maybe. Other than that, it's like that guy's going to dance in, and by the time you cast your Renzo stun or whatever, he's already gone. So I really like that snap like rooted the assassin because he's being too cocky, too in your face, and get that kill. And if they change duress too much, I'm just worried about what the counterplay will be there.
Well,
But
I mean,
I can-
maybe
I
then
can-
you pick something like Zeri, maybe she becomes more viable because she's a direct counter to Faris with the ability to silence him after he flashbacks.
Yeah, I mean, I can appreciate that as well. I mean,
Or Viana, you know what I mean?
Maybe maybe the new Duress is a silence. Like, I mean, that would work. Like, what if Duress literally just silenced and slowed or something, like, without being a root? I don't know. Even a silence would be good, because with the silence you could stop them from blinking at the very least. Like, you could silence.
That'd be interesting. You'd
Yeah.
stop their mobility.
Yeah.
In a different way, obviously. You'd stop the people who have. I mean, because most shapers in the game are pretty mobile. Although they've been releasing some not so mobile shapers recently.
I'd also be curious to see if they want to experiment with removing bonus move speed as a component of Duress. Like, instead of rooting people, just make you return to base move speed. It would be like a different kind of slow, but it would like be really effective against like stupid haste builds, like the haste deck and King Mass, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think
Hasty
there's
horse.
I think there's some play there that they could make and still make it a good item without gutting it completely.
Yeah.
And then obviously the classic, the suggestion a lot of people have said is requiring activations, right? Like requiring synergy with auto attacks to proc it is a third option.
Is there an earthquake in Canada right now, John?
Yes.
Why is your camera shaking so much?
Okay, I'm safe here. Don't worry, guys. Just
Oh, I was kicking my desk. I'm sorry. My bad.
I was like, where's that motion coming from? So, I mean, yeah, like we've talked Duress to death, and it's hopefully gonna get changed.
Yeah, it's
and,
just being worked on. So
I mean, there's nothing we can really do about it now. But I mean, I want to kind of continue what we kind of started talking about with the like underpowered shapers. People like Kel, Fenmore.
What?
How do we make these shapers more viable?
Can I ask a question real quick? Because I mean, this is kind of in line with that, but this is mostly to the people who play competitive. Deciding picks and bans, or not really the picks, obviously the picks are decided on your team comp, the enemies, etc. But deciding bans, do you specifically ignore certain shapers entirely unless you know somebody on the enemy team? I mean, you were kind of touching on this earlier, Tulse. Unless someone on the enemy team is known to be good with that player or that shaper, and do you play normal games in order to find out who they're good with? Like, where do you gather information and how do you choose the picks and bans? Or the bans, really?
Yeah, kind of like Acid's Viridian.
yeah, well, okay. To be honest, Viridian is not OP, but the fucking 10th mastery page is OP because when you get accidentally crit at level 1, your life just sucks. Like I did that in my freaking towards in-house the other day when I played against Ferris, and I randomly crit him at level 2, and I was like, oh wow, we won the league, boys.
Right. Like game 1 at that point, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So like for my team, I could safely say that I ban whatever I just don't want to play against. Like if I think it's annoying, or I think they're good with it, or in general the shaper is OP as hell, and we have people like either I think that way or my team thinks that way, then I'll just ban it. Like whatever. Like either way, when you ban something, you don't let them play it. So it works both ways. And when you pick away from people sometimes. So that works too. So you're basically just denying whatever you don't want to play against, or you don't want other people to play.
Okay.
So that's how I see the pick and ban phase.
That's kind of what we did against CDR yesterday with Basco and then picking the Moya. So we're forcing Mango to play Salas both games, or different jungler he's not comfortable on.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
About a month ago, it seemed like Mina and Sakari were like, if you didn't ban them, you were the worst and you deserve to lose. Are there any shapers that occupy such a tier at this point?
I think it's still team specific. I'm pretty sure if we scrim against other teams, they'll ban like Sakari or Dibs against us.
Mm-hmm. But is that more because you guys are really good at those shapers, or
yeah, I think it's more just because we're really good at. Like there are some teams where I don't care, because I think we can outskill them in the lane phase, so we give them the Sakari. Or like, yeah, you can do this. If you hit your Qs, good for you. If you don't, then we win. So like stuff like that.
Mina's really interesting though.
Yeah, Mina fell out because
is it
I
just
feel
the
like
nerfs
she fell out
piled
of
up,
flavor.
or
No, I think she just fell out of flavor. Like, I still think she's really good, but she's very. I guess you could say she's cheesy in the fact that, like, if she wins the lane, like, you lose more than just the lane. You lose, like, that entire side of the jungle. Because if a Mina gets ahead, then you can go for your jungler as Mina, and you just backpack into the jungler, and then you just 2v1 the enemy jungler too. And I feel like Mina is just something where she's kind of high risk as well, because like what she does is like a gimmick, right? She goes in, she
Yeah.
fears, and chances are you'll probably die.
That's what I've been noticing in solo queue now is Minas are like jumping in and
And then you
dying.
die.
Like
Yeah,
the
exactly.
disruption isn't enough anymore. She can't get far enough out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think you can pick Mina more, but I think the meta has also shifted because a lot of players, when they play the lane now, they're a lot safer. So when they like people's awareness has been better, like their teamwork has been better. If they see like a jungler coming, they'll be like, "Oh, the jungler is on this side, so you should be careful." And then naturally, the Mina just doesn't get a lot out of it.
Right.
The oh, I had another thought and I lost it now, but as far as well, so I mean, if bans are now shifting onto a more team specific type thing, I mean, that's got to speak to the balance of the game in a good way on some level, right? Like if you're choosing your bans based off of who you're playing against and not who's just considered the strongest shapers in the game, I mean, that's got to be a good thing, right?
I guess so, but there are also situations where I would just ban the most OP stuff, like if I don't plan on playing. So I guess, especially on the second phase of bans, when I'm coming back, I'm just like, oh my god, if for some reason like super OP shapers came through and I was like, oh my god, all this OP stuff is still available, like I try to salvage it as well. Like there's still always going to be like a tier list of what is good and what is not. Sadly, a lot of melee shapers are towards the bottom of that tier list, I would say, unless they're junglers, of course. But I'd say a lot of it does have to do with what players are currently playing. So a lot of the range tacticians, some are OP depending on the players, and some are just OP in general. Like you can't go wrong with Calm because he has so much CC, right? And then there's like, I don't know, some really good Diz players, some really good Sakari players, and generally the players also gravitate towards playing more OP shapers in general, just because you can, like, why would you not play an OP shaper? Or like a really, really strong shaper?
Yeah.
It's like Mikella right now. Everyone's playing Mikella.
Yeah, Mikella's the new hotness
Mikkella's-
once again.
Do that
Like I played
passive.
Race to the Gate, and I was like, yo, man, Mikella's the best. And then they gave her a passive, and I was like, Mikella's even better. She's the best. And now everyone's
She
playing
really
Mikella.
is.
So.
In a if we're going to like a solo queue type environment, who are the, I mean, who do you guys consider like the priority bans? I mean, this is a question for everybody. I mean,
Viridian.
you think there's enough good Viridian players that it warrants like solo
When I
queue
get
bans,
bored in
Muzzy?
solo queue, when I get
Maybe
bored in
maybe in solo queue I'm just running again into the same Viridian players and I'm just not noticing. But I just have this feeling of, man, Viridian's so fucking strong, and as a jungler going against a jungle Viridian or even a lane Viridian, it's like that lane is lost. I can't do shit about it. Yeah, it's tough.
Ever since they buffed Viridian like 4 times in a row, I have found that like even when you beat Viridian, he always seems to find a way to carry the game. He's
He
I
just
don't know
plays
if he
Jesus really, really hard.
I don't know if I would ban him, but like I would consider it at the very least because he is going to snowball off bad players, and I always that's always my go-to banning strategy in like League of Legends. It's like who are the in-meta snowball champions right now?
Mhm.
Those are the guys I want to hit, and he certainly satisfies that criterion. But otherwise, yeah, I don't know. Maybe
I mean, if you want someone who never goes away and can get everywhere on the map whenever the hell they want, Moya, I would say in solo queue is pretty terrifying. Ult is always relevant even when the team is down.
I don't
think-
like playing against Ceruleans.
yeah,
Ceruleans,
Cerulean's
yeah.
another good one. That shit scares me. Like,
It makes me very sad.
I do think that I don't know if you guys are as selfish as I am, but like if I'm like say I want to play Vex this game, I might just ban Cerulean because I don't want to get like dunked on or Moya. I don't know.
That's what I did in League. I banned Fizz because I was a TF main.
Yeah, I was Katarina main, so I banned everyone. But no, I can appreciate like I mean, especially if your first pick. I mean, there's no solo lane in Dawngate, thank God. But like, yeah, definitely just ban your hard counter straight up. Like, if you're
I've
like,
always elected the philosophy of just banning things that a lot of people are good at. Like I always used to just ban Lee Sin because I'm like I don't like playing Lee Sin, and there's a lot of good Lee Sin players. And it's like I'd rather not that he was the most OP at the time, but it was just like I don't want to deal with that. That's always been my kind of thing. So I'd probably spend a lot of time like I don't want to deal with Ashabels. I don't want to deal with Sakaris. So I mean that's probably where I'd be throwing my bans.
Real quick, you said there's no solo lane in Dawngate, but we do have 2 different lanes. How does that affect your choices for who goes where? Does it affect your choices for who goes where in competitive?
well, you specifically said competitive, but as a solo queue player, if I'm on the left side, like the blue team or whatever, I'm going top because it's an easier lane
Right.
to ward, and I'm not gonna
Okay.
feed. But that's
Yeah,
just
top lane is just safer. Bot lane's
Yeah.
prone to more ganks in general.
So do you put like a kill lane top if you have a kill lane kind of thing, and like your CC bottom lane, or do you put CC top so that if they do gank, they're definitely screwed because it's coming because it's easier warding? Like what's the plan, or is that you don't want to
I
talk
know-
about it because it's
I
competitive?
think
know
a
that
deep ward generally destroys that in general.
Mm.
Because if you know like the jungler passes through that ward, you can just make the assumption he's on that side of the map even before the gank. So you can just change the way you play.
Yeah.
Like although like that kind of just changes the way that both lanes are actually kind of the safe. They're both safe as long as you play intelligently, but it's still true
Boom!
that like
Patch notes! Patch notes alert! Wee
Oh,
so yeah.
Yep.
So
we
if
interrupt your
you-
regular scheduled broadcast.
I was frantically refreshing the Dawngate page.
I was too. It just came up.
Oh,
It literally
Yeah.
just came up, and the map is no longer spooky. So rest in
Aw.
peace, spooky map.
Fuck this patch, man.
This patch is the worst.
Flip buffs!
Flip all the fucking tables. All right, so we just got our hands on some patch notes. So
We'll
thank
go
you,
over this. Let's do
Waystone,
it.
for
Yeah.
getting in time for the show. But
Yeah.
we're gonna
No salt, PJ Salt right here.
yeah. It only
Flip
we're
buffs.
only an hour in. Thanks, jerks. Maybe I would have liked to tell people we'd be talking about patch notes tonight. Maybe that's something I'd like to do. Anyway, so we have them now. So all things and first, wow, Flynn
Flynn
buffs.
buffs.
Thrilling
Flynn
heroics being taken
Bring up
down
buffs!
by 2 seconds.
Scroll down to the roll section, boys.
No,
Yeah,
not
roll is
yet.
pretty
What is
big.
this?
Okay, all right. Alphabetical order. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
all right.
I have to. Well, this is great because now
This
we're
is
gonna
This is awesome.
we get to react organically to them as we're reading them, and all the reactions will be nice and fully thought out.
Then we'll still
Yeah.
one-shot 80 carries, but not one-shot the bruises as much.
Yay, Bruisergate, come back!
All right, read them out. Read them out, man.
All
What's
right,
the first,
so
what's the
Thrilling
first
Heroics.
note?
Cooldown of this ability has been reduced to 9, 8.5, 8,
Excuse me.
7.5, 7, down from 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. So that's
That's actually huge.
really
Buffs the early
big.
game a lot.
Like
Anything that buffs the
1.2
early
is
game
huge.
is really strong in this game. So
2 seconds is a
buff-
lot.
It
Mhm.
buffed Jungle Flynn more so than Lane Flynn because there are some
Mhm.
situations where you max your Q first as Lane Flynn, but Jungle Flynn is a lot better now, I guess. But it doesn't change the most frustrating thing about Flynn, where the cooldown of your Q only starts when you pick up the damn
I
basket.
know. It's
That is
I
the
know,
worst
that
part
is-
about Flynn's kit. So although the cooldown went down, it doesn't really actually matter because if you're running away, you're not going to get your stun. Or if
Well,
you chuck
okay.
your stun over a cliff, you're not going to get that stun back.
Here's my
Yeah.
question: Is Q a 1.1 durability, or is that something you max more often than not?
I think you
Uh,
used to max it because it was
it
a
max-
4-second difference from
Okay,
level
so-
1 to max level. Now it's only a 2-second
Yeah,
difference.
because if it's
Yeah.
a if it's a 1.1 now, like that's huge to get basically 20% off the cooldown of a
Yeah.
1.1 spell is crazy. Like that's a massive buff if you're not
Yeah.
putting points into
Yeah.
it.
So like it's like I said, it's better as jungler. because usually I think you max your W or E.
W, yeah.
Yeah, so you get like higher clear or something like that. But
Mhm.
in lane, there's actually a lot of times where like the slow is flat on your W, so there's not too much of a point
It's
in
just
maxing that.
damage you're getting.
Yeah, but like in certain matchups where you can bite the crap out of people and get HP back, maxing your E is actually quite favorable. But in situations where they don't have a lot of armor and stuff like that, maxing your Q is quite decent. So for lane Flynn, I guess it would be like a buff to his early game where you land more Qs, something like that, I guess. But yeah, general, it's still a good buff. Like,
Moving on, Lilin kind of getting the general light nerfs everywhere, which was something we kind of talked about.
The waste nerf, the 5-point nerf.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's 1% of the shade damage
I still don't care because
goes down. That's really nothing. The Butte, Consecrate, and Invocation got reduced by 2%. The power ratio of her passive went to 4% per 100 power instead of 5% per 100 power. And they did nerf the range of her Q, not her ultimate,
50.
which I think needs the range nerf more. But Fool's Fire got 50 range down, so
Almost 10%.
yay.
Almost
The other one's
10%,
getting
man.
nerfed so
Like,
bad from 1,000
I don't know.
range.
What do you think, PorkCh0p? You're a Lilin player. Does this affect really anything?
Nope.
No,
No,
not really.
not enough
Like,
yet.
It's dumb. If you look at the numbers, it's like percent damage, like down from 2%. But what I do is I look at her full combo. So I give the example of you have 2 shades. You can probably get 4 shades in a team fight. So it does 12% damage, and then you can hit your Rebuke, Consecrate, and Invocation. So 3 of those, it's 18% damage, like 18%. So 18 plus, the rest of the math of 12. So that's 30% of their freaking HP. That's huge. And I don't know.
And this right here, ladies and
doesn't do
gentlemen,
much.
is why you need an Asian on every team.
Yeah.
Why do you think I brought him onto the podcast?
That's racist, man.
Wow.
No, it's
Gosh.
not. It's true.
Mm,
The one thing I can say, Lillian's only job is to burst down really one target. And if she can't do it nearly as well because they nerfed her damage in 5 spots, I mean, she could fade away real quick.
Yeah, but I also don't
I don't-
like the fact that when she gets a lot of haste, she just keeps spamming Q and you just get destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that's why they hit their passive really hard, because the haste build relied on the passive for damage, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know.
So
I don't-
moving, you guys want to keep going through here? Oh wow, there is a lot
Keep
of
going down.
changes. Oh my
There's
god,
a lot.
I keep
Let-
scrolling.
let's-
All the items got
yeah, let-
changed. Holy crap!
Let's
Yeah.
go through it a bit more.
Yeah,
faster.
and we can come back to things.
Wisdom
we have to.
Reach, yes, I love this.
20
the
seconds
cooldown has been
cooldown
reduced
reduction
by
early on.
20 seconds on the first one and 10 seconds on the second one. That is
That's good.
awesome. I'm gonna jungle with her more and screw all
Well,
of
that
you.
doesn't.
Don't
The
do it.
ultimate doesn't help you jungle better, Mo.
Are you kidding me? That means that I can gank way more often because
20
way
seconds
more often.
I,
Yeah, but
I spent the
loadouts
whole
that I run
weekend
have
bitching
haste.
to Gasti because I was like, I can't use my ultimate. Everyone else has their ultimate back up, but I'm still looking. It wasn't Reyna I was playing, it was someone else. So hopefully, when we scroll down
Yeah.
the patch notes, we'll get to Kel again.
You'll see it. Yeah.
No, no Cal.
Let's
no,
just go
Are you
down.
kidding?
no touches to Cal.
Oh,
Ronan got a little buff on Bolt.
Ronan, yeah.
The cooldown
I like
goes
this.
down by a second
I like
at all
this.
ranks, which is
I'm
huge.
definitely gonna jungle it more.
And
like
the
this.
basic attack
God.
bonus
I like this.
is increased by
Mhm.
5% at all
Yeah.
ranks. So
But it
his
doesn't-
Q got big buffs.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it doesn't fix his main problems, which is like shitty clear.
Yeah, doesn't
And
help him play any
harass.
better.
Yeah.
Bollock Damnation gets hit once again.
wow.
Like-
Actually,
Oh, wait.
up the early game.
Oh,
It's
okay.
normalized.
I can't
just-
wait
yeah.
to see someone justify. They're like, man, Volek was underpowered. He didn't need another nerf. Waste him. What are you smoking?
Yeah, but they finally hit what was strong about Volek, which is the life stream. So,
Yeah, especially the early, but they make his early game life drain better. I mean, 5%, but
Yeah, but the late game. So in late game, when he's fed, you won't feel like, holy crap, I can't take down this guy.
yeah, that's 15% at max range or max rank. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's go to rolls. 'cause
Okay,
it's
what
pretty
is
hype.
this? Melee tacticians have always felt disadvantaged by how disproportionately. That's a lot of disses. wait a minute. Melee tacticians felt disadvantaged by how disproportionately difficult. Oh my god, I feel like
Thanks,
I'm
Pluto.
this.
Thanks, Pluto.
Jesus. It was for them to take advantage of the roll's harass bonus. This change is aimed at allowing the natural combos that melee shapers have in their kit both feel and appropriately rewarding. Tactician. Melee attacks and abilities are now on a separate cooldown from range attack than abilities. The amount of Vim rewarded for a melee proc has been reduced to 20, down from 40.
Yo, man.
Why that?
I thought this change was suggested on the Money Pigs podcast like 6 months ago.
Yeah, so you can cast your spell,
Wait.
you'll get a 20 proc, and then you
Oh,
get
and then you
auto
get
Hit them in the
attack.
face.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
You
like
get
Renzo,
four.
when you queue like the rare chance on Tactician Renzo, when you actually get to queue somebody and you follow up with an auto attack, you're gonna get the. That's awesome because it sucked to queue someone and get 20, and you're like, it's the same range as an auto attack. Why can't I get 40 for that?
Yeah.
Here's my question though, like PBA, like let's say Asherbell's knockback, is that a melee spell or a ranged spell?
I have no idea.
Or are there other equivalents? Like,
But he's
what
not a
about
melee tactician.
Is it just melee tactician?
It's only for melee attacks.
Yeah, melee
So
tacticians.
it's only
It
for
says
melee.
melee attacks and abilities. Now, if there's a ranged shaper with a melee ability, it seems like that would work. That
Well,
in my
melee
head.
attack. I think it means melee attacks, as in normal, close range. Like, what is the melee attack range?
Oh,
like?
okay.
And then
Okay.
abilities is separate. So like even if you Q, that's a quote unquote an ability. So you
Gotcha.
get 20, and if you follow it up with a smack to the face with your punch, then that's the melee attack.
Gotcha. Okay, so melee attacks, comma, and
Yes.
ability. All right, as separate constructs. Okay, that makes sense. I thought the thing like Renzo's Q was a melee ability versus Asherbell's Q. Okay, I got you. We're on the
That's
same
what-
page.
Cool.
All right, so just a brief note on the items. The price of most items has been updated to provide early, mid, and late game options per tier while still providing a degree of normalization in order to help make it easier to know if a player should return to base to buy or not. Additionally,
Yes.
the price point of haste has been increased due to haste slightly overperforming across the board. Most items with
Oh.
haste have either had their price increased and the amount of haste slightly reduced. So this is something we've been talking about, something that's kind of been
Yeah.
an underlying
Haste-
current. Haste builds.
OP.
Yeah, haste has been OP for a long time just because it gives you so many stats. And I think it's one of those reasons why ranged tacticians, mages are so popular because they can build a lot of haste. They don't have great power ratios to begin with anymore. So by building haste, you're like, well, I'm just going to be able to do my job better. So that's going to be interesting.
Rest in
So-
peace, Vex.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Life. HP.
now no one will ever buy Clarity. Thank God.
Well,
What?
no, clarity
no,
is
wait, no.
clarity's
Wait.
untouched, man.
No. Yeah. Oh shit. Is it really? God
Yeah,
damn
you have to
it.
go through the whole list.
Oh,
Shall we go through
yeah.
these lists?
So
Let's do it.
starting off life, which is far and away the most popular lane item choice, unless you're ranged AD when you start hunger. So maybe we'll see a little more variation in the starting items because life, the health regen has been reduced down
Yeah.
to 5, down from 10. The health on the item has been reduced by 20 to 100 from 120, but the price has been reduced as well.
Yeah, so you start with 1 extra HP pot.
If this
Essentially.
ruins the life is like 420 is life joke now.
Yep.
It does ruin that.
Unbelievable.
The
Oh,
power
no.
got increased by 5 Vim. Maybe just trying to normalize it and make it
It's
the
just
same.
normalizing, because like when
That's
you buy your
silly.
potions, you still have the 3, and it's just like
Yeah, the extra 5 Vim is just sitting there being weird. The base haste on time got reduced to 15, down from 20, and the price got reduced to 420, down from 460. So we
Oh,
still
okay.
have that 420.
haste is-
So now time
you
is
got-
420.
yeah. So you
Gotcha.
got all the time in the world to blaze it.
That's right.
420.
I got all
Yeah.
the time in the world to 420 blaze it, yo.
Easily. Alright. So
Abolition got nerfed 5 haste to 20. Balance got taken down by 5.
I think what we do here is we remember the changes of like the power. So you know with abolition, the haste granted by this item was reduced to 20 down from 25. That just reflects the haste reduction in time.
Mhm.
So it's really nothing has changed. It's
Yeah.
just the time is being brought through so that everything else is.
It's like
Like,
knocking
no
the bottom
misses.
block out of a Jenga.
Yeah,
It just
exactly.
drops it
So
everything
clarity
down.
is now worth more money, technically, right?
Technically, yes.
Yeah,
Shit.
because instead of being instead of being the same price as 2 times but less time, it's now almost the same but with more haste. Okay, good.
Damn it.
Good.
Such a I hate that item so much.
Command,
Hate
a
it.
big change. The power got reduced by 5, but the price goes down to 1,200 from 1,500. That's a
That's
lot. 300
awesome.
Vim is a lot for a
I
advanced
love
item.
Command. This item is awesome.
Now I can
Yeah.
just rush judgment
This buff
faster.
is great. Yeah. Not judgment.
I don't know if it's bad or not, but I
Or
love
justice.
Command
Justice.
build.
Justice.
Here comes a judge. Here comes a judge.
Loose.
So control getting a little bit of love. This is something that's interesting because control is kind of like, why buy control when there's duress? So the fact that they lowered the price by 100 and they increasing the slow values all the way around on every aspect of it
Yep.
will control maybe see
even
more
AoE.
play.
That's awesome.
And
I
dot.
guess the
Yeah,
important
and dots.
the important part of this control buff is to compare it to pursuit and inevitability, because if this like control buff is brought into inevitability and stuff, then it's probably going to be huge. Like, okay, so I just scroll down to check pursuit. None of that changed. But with inevitability, it went up. So, and I think it's just to reflect the melee slow.
So here's a question: with control being reduced and melee being increased, spell-wise and stuff like that, you think we're going to start seeing a lot of melee attacks getting control super early?
Maybe.
The
Just to pick it
ability
up as
to-
I don't
value.
know. Does
That
because
sounds.
I don't.
No.
I don't think so. There are so many more valuable items you get, and it doesn't give you a lot of the
That's
stats
true.
you need
Yeah,
as a
early
attack.
that's true because you'd want to get more something defensive.
Yeah.
maybe it
Yeah.
could be something that I mean, I've been seeing a lot of tact Faris lately. I think maybe him getting a control because he could make use of I mean, he literally has. He can make use of every single form of that control. He can go range, melee. He's got a single target ability and his AoE dot from the range access memory. So that would be kind of interesting on those on-hit tact Faris builds, like
Yeah.
working a control in there.
I kind of want to know how the slows stack. Like, do they stack as if they're normal? Because then you can get a lot of stacking going on. Like, if I was a Ferris and I like did an AoE, like the range W, and then followed up with my ultimate, and then went melee form to attack you after hitting you with a flashback, then like do all of them literally stack up together and you get slowed like crazy?
I have no idea.
It's probably just the last one applied.
That would suck so much more. My hype is now gone.
All the hype is that took all the wind out of his sails. Big change of conviction. The magic resist goes down by 5, but the price goes down by
Huge.
over almost 500, 440 Vim. So conviction is down 900, down from 1340. So
I like this a lot.
that is
This-
awesome, and something that melee tax dealing with all of those range mages in lane. Like I've built a magic resist loadout because I'm like, why am I putting armor in my loadouts? I'm never against anything
Yeah,
that
I like
does
this a lot.
armor, that physical attack damage. So I've been putting a lot of MR into my loadouts, and now with conviction only being 900,
Yep.
it might make the lane not so punishing against those tactician Ashabels and Sakaris and Amaranths and King of Masks.
This is a pretty good change.
Because this is so cheap, there's literally no excuse now for when I'm like in solo queue. I go, hey guys, they have 4 mages. Let's get some MR early, and they're like, oh, what am I gonna get? It's all so expensive. Not anymore. This is the item.
If you don't mind me asking, because I've never built this item ever, what does it give? And what's it built into?
When you get hit by an enemy shaper, so anything,
40 health. 40
you
health
get
over.
40 over 10 seconds. So what I like a lot about this item is that, you know how when you're a melee tactician, you have a life, but you usually change it into like a devotion or something? Now if you pick up this conviction, it kind of pseudo like acts like a normal life that you would normally retain. Because a lot of people talk about purity being really, really bad because you lose the base regen and you lose like the regen on, like basically when you upgrade life to purity, you transfer your healing from yourself to your lane partner. That's basically what purity does. And with like this change to conviction, especially with it being really cheap, you kind of retain a little bit of that normal regen that you would normally have.
Cool.
So I think that's pretty cool.
Good to know. Good to know.
But I still don't know if tanks will pick this item up really fast.
Hmm.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Discipline, energy, and form all get hit by 5.
Except energy went up by 5.
Oh, I'm sorry. Energy went up by 5.
Yeah.
Discipline went down by 5 haste. Energy went up by 5 haste. Form went down by 5 power.
Do you think that's a typo?
No. Energy's
No.
been really,
No?
really trash, in my honest opinion.
Yeah.
Because the freaking passive just sucks, man. Like, why would you ever buy, like, spending 1,500 gold to get, what is it now, 25
The-
haste and 10 mastery?
The
with this-
babyest lightning bolt.
With this zap that, like, almost never kills, but when you die to it, you feel like crap. But Energy is so bad. Like whenever we're scrimming and OC's like, "Oh, I have 1700. I don't want to buy energy." We're like, "Yo, man, we got to shop," and then we go do this parasite, and OC's like, "I don't want to shop. I have this money for only energy that I'm gonna get, and I really want my chaos, but I don't want to get the energy because it sucks." And we're like, "Okay, whatever. We just keep farming. Everyone else just gonna shop."
It's true.
So,
Do you hate energy as well, Pork Chop, on mages? Do you just like save up for the full potency or chaos?
Yeah, if you can. There's no point going back. The only thing that I like about energy is the little number that pops up when you hit somebody.
Yeah.
that's good. Especially when the cooldown is 10 seconds. Like, come on. Oh.
Growth. The health by this item is
No,
increased.
you skipped over freedom.
Oh, you're right. I can't
Oh,
read.
this is big. This is
Haste
big.
granted by
Now,
this item is
Haste.
reduced to 20 down from 40. That's
Wow.
huge. The price of
This
this
is
item is
crazy.
reduced to 1200 from 1485.
now
So-
everyone can build this to counter duress. They
Well,
don't
we've
have to
always
change
talked
duress.
about freedom, Muzzy. Me and you, we always say
Yeah,
like freedom. It's a
yeah.
haste item, not a MR item. Now it
But
looks
now
like
it's not.
it might
Yeah.
be a
MR.
MR item.
But
Not
the
a
problem
good
is
one.
the MR is still shit tier
Yeah,
on
I'll
this.
say not a good one.
Yeah, it's not a good one.
It's
I mean,
cheaper
you-
though.
Basically, the only reason you ever get freedom is because you need tenacity, and it's unfortunate that it is an MR item only. There's only MR tenacity, but it would be really nice to get a buff to the MR on this one in addition to this. Hell, I'd let it. I'd like it to go up to
I think-
1300 just to get some more MR.
I think
Yeah.
they reduce
Stupid.
like you save $285 on the freedom. Now how much do you save on the conviction? You save like 400 something?
Yeah,
So
you
save
save.
Yeah.
like
Oh,
600
you save.
bucks.
Yeah, a lot on conviction.
So like buying a conviction and a freedom might like be the thing to go. I don't know. I'm just
Right,
okay.
right.
I'm not
Because
gonna
you
play
come,
tanks
but
anymore.
that's 2 slots. That's 2 slots. It's like,
Yeah, but
But
like,
in
if
these
you're-
magic
if you're
comp-
actually if you're actually
Yeah.
playing against that much magic, then
Mhm.
why the hell not? Like,
right? Why not? But I mean, what I was saying is you get freedom because of tenacity. Tenacity is the stat that you really
Yeah.
care about on that item. But what if you're up against a Petrus, a Salus, all these physical people who have lots of roots and slows and stuns and whatnot and knockups? Where the fuck is the tenacity?
Yeah, that is
item
funny. Why
for
has
armor?
tenacity always been
Where
associated with
is
magic
it?
damage?
I've
Yeah,
asked this
that's
question a
illegal.
lot, and I
Mages-
never get a
mages-
straight answer.
mages-
okay,
Just
this
do
is how I see
CC.
it. Like mages bring the CC and stuff, but I feel like there's no armor on this item because a lot of
Which
bruisers
bruiser
want
doesn't
that.
Well, not on
CC.
this item. I'm saying another item with.
Yeah,
another
okay, this is why. Because I think if you put too much armor on a tenacity item, then you just run hoplite and forms and you wreck everyone.
So make the armor really low. Like you're getting it for they made
Doesn't
the
matter,
MR
because-
really low.
Yeah, but it doesn't
So-
matter because there's a hoplite thing and there's no MR equivalent of hoplite. That's literally
Yeah.
all. Like
Still,
if you have the forms stacked and you have an item that prevents you from getting CC'd, like you stack 3 forms and you stack 3 freedoms, nobody's gonna stop you. And you're
right,
gonna
but
win.
that's a cheese build. You
It
see what
doesn't-
I'm saying? Like there's no real build that
Okay,
would.
Yeah, but it's cheese, right?
Right,
what's
but it
more-
would work.
What's frustrating about losing the cheese?
It's
Yeah.
true. No, it's totally true. Racehorse,
you wouldn't-
absolutely.
Yeah, and you wouldn't want this in your game. Like
I do want tenacity with armor. I do, because there are so many times I come up against double 80
yeah,
carry
but okay,
and
how bad would
bruisers
you
and
be when people stack 6 forms and one shot you with one ability?
because
I
they
was
have
pretty
tenacity.
fucking mad. No,
I-
just
yeah,
like
but
6 forms.
They do it already. They do it already. Like
Not anymore. Like it's so much.
well, yeah, not since Mega Zero left.
It's true.
Yeah.
The last bastion of Formgate.
See,
Yeah.
the only problem with cheese, right, is like if it doesn't work, you've now useless yourself. Like that haste cerulean's really cool when he's getting killed, but then the kills stop and you're like, oh
Yeah, you get
shit.
exploded mid dunk.
And that pisses me off as a teammate. Like I want my tanky cerulean making plays, not the guy literally dying to one auto attack. So I like
That's
the
life choice decision.
I like interesting builds and I like off the wall builds, but I don't like all in cheese stuff because
That's
it
what I was saying. What about the real builds that require tenacity, even though you can't access it unless you get MR item, which
I
is a
mean, at
waste
least
of
just
slot.
put it on a life item or something, right?
Something.
it would
dude.
be nice
Something.
to have choices. That's
That's something I've
fair.
always thought was funny is like something like League of Legends did, and like everybody just followed suit that, oh, tenacity is associated with MR. And you're like, oh, well, mages have CC on their kits. Well, show me a bruiser without CC. Name one. There's none. Not in Dawngate. They all have some form of CC.
This
and they
is
do.
CC gate.
So why are we limited? I think that's.
Well,
I'm in that camp, Muzzy. Screw this
feel
MR
like-
only tenacity.
I think if armor gets a tenacity item, you're going to get tower dose so much more.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I feel like
That's-
armor.
we might have to eat our words one day.
I feel like
That's a good point, but
there
we
are a
still
lot
don't
of-
know the changes to the bindings that are being made,
Okay.
so we don't know yet.
Okay, what I'm going to say is that there are more forms of damage coming from physical damage than magical damage in this game because there are
There-
auto attacks.
Actually, I would beg to differ because of the diversity that AD carries can get with MR now. MR damage, I have been up against
Yeah, you
full
get the
AD carry comp,
betrayals.
and they get betrayal and resonance and
Yeah, but that still doesn't
and then I'm-
decrease the amount from their auto attacks, right?
no,
Well,
it doesn't. You're right, but the thing is
doesn't,
now, but
it doesn't. It doesn't.
It
And
doesn't,
then
it
mages
Right,
still
it
auto
doesn't.
attack you. You get physical. Bruisers, junglers, they're still going to do physical damage. Tanky characters still going to do physical damage. Even mage tacticians, they're still going to do physical damage. So if you're giving lots of people like armor and tenacity, I feel like the way tenacity, this is the way I see it, is that you reduce the amount of CC time, so it kind of like knocks up the effectiveness of a spell. That's how I would kind of see it.
I see what you're
So-
saying there.
So with that, like, if I put it on life, I would feel uneasy because it's actually really easy to get freaking armor and MR in this game if you really think about it. And putting it on life might be pretty OP. I don't know. Like,
I see
I
what you're
also agree that like
To an
if tenacity was somewhere else, it would be pretty nice. But like if you want it on life, just get stability, man. Like you get life off
Sure.
that.
No, I know.
It's
I
only
know,
really
but,
armor.
but
that
you
does
have to
that.
go through a stage of no life. You know,
Yeah.
you have to go through the freedom gate.
Well, I
All
think
right,
plenty
anyway.
of us are going through a stage of no life.
Yes.
As we move on here, Growth got 15 more health and lost 5 haste. Integrity
It's okay.
lost 5 armor. Oh my god, but the price went down almost 400 Vim, 360.
Whoa.
And the basic attack damage granted
up.
from toughness went up from 2%. What did
Oh.
they do to Integrity?
Wow, they made it.
Integrity
an
was
item.
already so ridiculously strong.
Yeah, but how many times was it bought?
I used to
How many
see...
times do you actually see it in your game? I only see it in a game when I'm against a Vex. The only time I ever see it now. And even then, like, you have to ask people to get it. Like, can you please get an Integrity?
Doesn't integrity upgrade to a legendary item for like 5 gold?
Yeah, order. It's
Yeah,
like
I think
800
super
Vim.
low.
Yeah, that's pretty
I
cheap.
think
Super.
$900 for integrity and $900 for conviction is pretty fucking big.
That's a nice
Yeah,
mid-game
that's-
item build for all tacticians. Or
Yeah,
anyone sort of
Now,
tanky.
now Integrity form. Okay, now Integrity.
Now that I
form.
think about it,
Integrity Hoplite.
looking at all of these items, like the major ADC or mage builds were untouched, and only bruiser items have been increased.
Yeah, because you know the Bruiser Gate closed and they're trying to wedge that bitch open again.
Yeah.
Let's
Well,
go, Bruiser
when we get
Gate.
to- When we get to the legendaries, there's some interesting.
All right, well
changes
let's
for AD
continue
carries.
working
Yeah.
through here. Might
Yeah.
lost 5 power, but it also lost 230 Vim in price.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Motion, the haste went down by 10, but the price also went down by about 150, down to 900. Pride gives a little bit more health now, up to 300 from
wait.
265.
I'm
Huh?
sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Only 155. I was gonna say motion already. I see people getting it like
Holy crap!
really fast, and now it's gonna come even faster. That's okay. Just
Pride
keep
is
going.
so good now.
It lost a third
Yeah.
of its haste. 10 on
Yeah.
is a lot.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, it is.
Down
30.
from 30 to
30.
20. That's a lot.
Yep.
Purity got increased by 50 Vim. Womp womp. Resolve got reduced by 200 Vim, which is nice. That's a really good item. Vigor lost 100 health, but lost 600
God.
Vim.
Wow,
Holy
finally
crap!
they made Vigor an item again.
What? Are you at
They-
They,
drugs,
they,
man?
they nerfed Vigor not long ago because they didn't like that people were buying a life and sitting on a Vigor and
Yep.
never upgrading it. And now you've just, I guess they took away 100 health of it,
Right.
and it doesn't build into that many great things. But damn, you're going to be able to get prosperity a lot quicker.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna be able to. You're gonna be more comfortable going with prosperity quicker.
Dude, you
You
get it.
won't
Yeah.
get it.
It's
You got not yeah.
No.
Prosperity's price increase is increased
Oh.
by 300.
Oh, I didn't see legendary. I was scrolling down. I didn't see.
I know.
I thought that was
So-
the last of the items.
Yeah.
all
But
right. So now we're into the legendary ones.
Yeah. Sorry.
Adamance
it.
gives 5 more armor. Betrayal went up 300 Vim. Chaos
God.
lost 5 mastery and 300 Vim cost, so that's nice. Chaos got a nice
Yeah.
little bufferino. Conquest The power got reduced by 5.
Guys, sorry to stop us. Betrayal went up to 3,300. This is the first time we've seen them going purposely up above 3,000, right? So new normalization includes
They have
items.
dominance. That's
Dominance
3.5K.
and
Dominance,
insight.
that's right.
Insight
Dominance,
is.
yeah.
Oh no, insight's 3K.
Insight.
It just feels.
But you know what I'm
worse.
saying? Like they're choosing a new tier now. It's like legendary 3,000, legendary 3,300. They're normalizing it there.
I'm
Yeah.
okay with
Okay,
that.
so
Oh my god, huge conquest buff!
I know.
yeah,
right?
conquest's huge.
Damn. So
What kind
the
of
price
thing-
goes down by 300, and the base damage of the Aftermath passive, that nice empowered auto attack that you get after using an ability, goes up by 20.
That
That's
aftermath
huge.
like buff just compensated for all the power. So like,
Yeah.
whatever, man.
In general, a lot of shapers they'll still lose a bit of damage technically if you apply all their power ratios multiplied by 5, right?
Right.
Like there's mages with like 5.0 power ratios, so they
Corruption.
lose. But
Corruption got
I like
reduced.
this one. This one's good.
People
Corruption.
were starting to get wise to corruption. I saw
Yeah.
it built a little bit yesterday, which is nice because it's something I've talked about for a while. I'm like, corruption's a pretty good item. I'm surprised we never see it. So
it gives 100 haste more or less. Like it's a huge haste item, and it's crazy. And it's still gonna give lots of haste, right?
yeah,
Feels
they didn't
super good.
touch they didn't touch any of the values. Just brought the price down. So that's nice.
Yeah. Made
Oh
it
wow,
more-
creation got a buff. Maybe it won't be completely garbage tier, but the health goes up by 50. The regen goes up to 30 from 25. The haste goes down by 5,
Got it.
and the
Decent
price
cost.
goes up. I don't know.
Oh, it's-
Never mind.
It's kind of just a normalization. It's not really a.
Still a bad item.
Still leave it in the trash.
It's more slot efficient now, at least.
Hey guys,
boy.
decay 15 vim.
Woo!
I
15
just saw
vim
duress.
cost reduction.
Shh! Don't talk about duress yet.
Defiance. The health gets more health. 900 health on
That's pretty
Defiance.
sick.
My favorite item.
Oh no, did we lose Muzzy?
Maybe.
He
Maybe.
saw Defiance is, and the rampancy builds are even better now than they were last week.
So he
and it's
lost
just-
his mind.
Take a minute. Yep.
So well.
Devotion.
Devotion. Wow, the armor got hit and got reduced by half.
It's because the cost went down by 600. Then?
Yeah, price
Yeah,
went
that-
down by 600, and the aura got reduced by 5 as
Yeah.
well.
That actually
It's
makes
not
me
bad.
really sad because that was my go-to rush item for winning games. Like incredibly
gonna rush
stat
it.
efficient.
It's
I
so great.
sure I could rush it faster, but like it was. There's so many team fights. I loved like I would just say on my stream like that guy lived because he has 15 or 20 more armor. Like just flat out. Like it felt so good. Now it's I don't know. It's still great, but I loved having that huge surge of stats.
Oh my god, this divinity nerf.
I know. It's
Increase
horrible.
of 5 with the cost increase by 300.
I hope those
Dominance! Dominance and
Dominance went up
Dominance!
even more.
3,600 for Dominance
Fuck this
now.
game.
Fuck
And
80
Divinity-
Okay,
carries, man.
so now they're going up even higher.
Dominance
Oh
and
my
Divinity.
God.
If you want those items, that's almost 7,000
okay.
Vim.
So real quick,
Oh, look at the
Gassy said
moon.
something
Aw.
a long time ago. Gassy said something a long time ago. He said getting full build, every item that you want, absolute full build, should be something that's semi-rare. That happens only like really late in the game. So this is kind of making that happen for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean this is your big ticket item. Like this is the biggest
Yeah.
ticket item in the game. There's legendary items that almost cost half as much. Like
Well, good thing you don't rush Dominance anymore.
Yeah.
I mean it's it's interesting.
That means no more Viridian. He won't be an issue anymore.
That's not true.
Well,
They're gonna
Conquest got buffed, Muzzy.
Oh, that's true. Conquest Rush. Conquest will get you the Vim.
Yeah,
for your
because
dominance.
you'll get
So
the
never
triple
mind.
kill
You're right.
once you get your
You're right.
Conquest.
Totally forgot about the Conquest. You valid point. Done.
Empathy.
Now he's probably scarier.
Yeah, Empathy got hit for 10 armor, down to 90. The Magic Resist got hit for 5, nothing else. Equilibrium armor down by 5, haste down by 10, price down by 300. Duress. Here we go.
Done.
The haste granted from the item has been increased to 35, up from
Oh,
30.
brilliance.
The item now has the Brilliance passive. This item now builds out of Inspiration. The Netherbind passive has been redesigned. It now does the following. Basic attacks and melee abilities against enemy shapers will constrict them for 4 seconds. What? And upon being constricted 3 times, the target will be rooted, okay, for a short duration and cannot be affected by constricting again for 6 seconds. Additionally, applying constrict has a 0.75 second cooldown. The root lasts for 0.75 seconds as a range shaper and 1.5 seconds as a melee shaper. So
Wow.
it's doubly effective on a melee shaper, yet
So
you
Freya-
got to get 3 attacks off.
Well, let's break it
Freya's
down
not
real
gonna have an
quick.
issue.
Tess's Q is only going to apply 1 stack of constriction. That right there is what I see.
Well,
It's huge.
Mara is top tier now, boys.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Mara
Oh,
is top tier.
Oh, yeah.
because if
I mean,
you've
what
got
about
the
Freya?
ultimate on, you get the stun. That's one auto attack. You usually can get 1 or 2 more in after that.
Gives you time.
And then that's a double stun. You get a stun and then a root on top of that.
It's pretty tense.
I feel like this is just yet another major systems design brought to you by Money Pigs.
It's also pretty good on like reset based shapers too, like maybe Moya. I don't know. I'm just like
Oh,
speculating
yeah.
about auto attack
Auto attack
resets.
resets.
Yeah.
I don't understand this. Is when it says the root lasts for blah blah as a shaper, does that mean the recipient? Like that means if I'm a mage,
Yeah.
I only get rooted for
No.
0.75?
No.
And if
If a range shaper hits you, 0.75 seconds.
That's
If a
0.75,
melee
yeah.
shaper gets you, 1.5 seconds.
Yeah.
I think it's the other way around. I think range shapers only get rooted for half as long as melee shapers.
No,
That's what
that's
that would-
ridiculous.
that
that's
would
what I'm
both
reading because
bullshit.
I mean it's not saying a constriction stack.
It's a horrible sentence. They wrote it wrong. There's no way they would do it that way.
I'm
This
telling
is-
you
this
100%
is
that's
standard.
how it works.
This is standard Waystone games where they phrase something absolutely terribly and then we have to decipher it on Money Pigs. So,
Right. But it's got to be.
Right.
It's how everything else is. There's nothing
Yeah,
in
there's
there.
no way
in
they
this
would
game
penalize melee
doesn't
shapers
reverse.
more for getting duress.
Right.
That's insane.
No way.
No, yeah, I'm very certain that's how it works.
Really?
Or
Oh yeah, you gonna shave your head for it, John? Because I'll fucking shave my head right now.
I
Because
can't.
that's
it's,
not what it is.
It's November. You can't.
That is not what.
My-
There's
my
no
razor
way
thin.
the root
Oh,
lasts
There's
Here,
no
more.
confirmation.
That's no shave here. Has nothing to do with your head.
I'm telling you, man, because otherwise, how would it work? Like, who gets to apply the last stack of constriction? Like, that would be so crazy. Like, oh, range shapers don't do the last proc because if you,
What are you talking?
It's only
Okay.
the person with duress that puts
It's
a.
the person with the rest applies it, not
Yeah.
anybody else. No one else. No one else.
Okay.
John.
Also, I have
Please.
another question about this.
John, go
Okay.
home. You're drunk.
I have
Okay.
another
drunk.
question because what if there are 2 people with duress? Do they share the
Yeah.
constrict?
All right.
They should.
Okay.
They should share the constrict as far as the 0.6.
So if I
or
shoot 2
6
auto attacks and then my con flushes forward and follows up with this 3rd auto attack, they get duress.
Okay. All right. This makes
I
sense.
see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Does that
Well,
happen?
you don't want 2 dresses. that's flat out. Like,
Why not?
Yeah, why not? There's no
because-
diminishing return on it.
Yeah,
huh?
I mean,
it's
there is.
it's
There is.
100% effective.
You can't be
In fact,
constructive.
if they
6
stack,
seconds.
if they stack, they're even more effective because
No,
it
no,
can
no.
happen faster.
But
Yes,
no, no,
because
no.
it can
Can't.
happen faster.
They get immunity on duress.
Yeah.
No. I'm saying, okay, like Tull said, like if they stack, you can proc it faster, but you
Yeah, that's
can't
why.
actually,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
but you
I
can't
understand
actually
now.
use it
So it's
again faster.
Only the person that has duress can apply the stacks. Okay.
Right, but I'm saying
That's
if 2
so
people
lame. That is so
So if
lame.
2 people have duress.
That's
Right.
so lame.
does it stack, or are
That's
they
lame.
immune from the other person? Whoever applies it first is the only one that matters. You know, it's like that's the question. Way to make a ridiculously confusing item instead of just taking it out
I'm
of the game.
sorry. My glasses aren't on. I'm having trouble reading it.
Yeah.
John,
uh-huh.
it's not you.
Uh-huh.
It's not the item itself is really confusing now. It doesn't just read easily.
I read.
I hope that's not the tooltip in game. I hope it's
When
not
I got
worded that way.
I read it. I thought you got
New
constricted, and anyone
new
can
people-
get attacks.
Yeah,
Okay.
new people are gonna
This
read this item and
sucks.
be like, what the fuck? Just
I feel
take
like
it out
this
of the
item's now
goddamn-
just like lame as shit. Like, I mean, it might still be good, but like the design, I don't.
Just take it out.
Okay, anyway.
Whatever.
Move on.
Moving
Sorry.
on. Faith. The health has been increased by 25.
have a
Price goes
question.
down by 30. Fate
So-
lost 10 haste. Goes up in price up to 3K, up from 20.
I see what's happening here. All the 80 carries are going to get shafted. This is perfect.
Good.
I'm going to go fucking on hit build now, so fuck all of you.
Finesse lost 5 haste. Fluidity lost 10 haste. But it lost 500 Vim in the price. Long
Well,
live fluidity.
Race car is still living because you just need that 10% move speed.
The race car
That's
is
all that
real.
matters. The 10%. Yeah.
That's right. Glory lost 300 Vim in the price, making it a little bit nicer. Grace lost 5 haste. Rest in peace. Harmony. The health granted has been reduced by 25. The haste got reduced by 5. Price goes down by 300, so that's nice.
Standardized.
Hope got increased 10 Vim, just like that decay, 15. Hope is now 3K up from 29.90.
Oh,
Ooh, hostility. Well, only 85, I guess. Not too bad, or
oh boy.
not a big deal.
Impulse.
Oh God, impulse.
The fake Cal stream.
Oh, Impulse got brought down by 600 Vim. Oh, this is a game changer, boys.
Oh yeah.
The fake Cal
Bring on the
Cal-
screw
Cal
duress.
is buffed.
Open the Impulse gate.
Cal is buffed. Let's go.
Inevitability got a price increase of 25 Vim.
Oh my god.
The melee
gosh.
basic attack of
Poor-
inevitability went up by 5%.
Jesus.
Only on melee, so
Does
Dude,
that
only
mean
play
when you
melee.
hit a melee shaper?
yeah.
No,
that's what it is.
John.
Oh my
Go
God.
home. You're drunk.
Oh, okay, I get it.
That's what-
Okay.
I think you should get Impulse and Duress now because you can, if you're Renzo, you can throw your rock, they're stunned, you'll Impulse to them, and then you'll auto attack. And that will give you your freaking.
The only
Constrict-
way Impulse could be any better at this point is if it applied on hit effects for some reason.
It
Like
should.
when you
Okay, so-
run into them, it applies an on hit effect.
And then the auto attack should count for yeah.
Right.
Technically, it does.
No, technically, yeah. No, actually, John is right about that because that counts as an auto attack, the dash.
Yeah.
So John was right
Oh,
about
you're
one
right.
thing tonight.
You stripped
You're
the
right.
surprise from your voice. All right.
Influence lost 5 haste and got a negligible price increase. Insight 300 Vim increase. Ooh, that's a lot. Judgment
That's good.
down by 5 power, but the price goes down by 300. So Judgment looks very nice. Justice got increased by 300 Vim.
You getting shafted.
Whatever.
It's a
Second
strong
item.
item. It makes sense.
Time to get more impulses.
So wait. Command Command got reduced in price. Judgment got Justice got increased in price. So now there's a bigger gap between that. You're
Yeah.
gonna be sitting on Command for a lot longer.
But you're able to get the command earlier, which really doesn't
Earlier.
help though because the command increases your power. Usually, by the time if you're
Yep.
trying to rush a
Don't have a lot of
command,
power.
you don't have a lot of power first. If
Right,
you're rushing
right.
command, so
That's true. So it kind of fits its theme. Okay. Good talk, Twerp. Good talk.
I got you, bro. Ooh, momentum lost 15 haste. That's kind of a lot, and only lost
What?
45 Vim in price. So the haste on momentum got hit heavily.
Holy shit.
This is. I think this
But-
is
but
basically
it's-
what they're doing. They're
It's still not an MR item.
they're basically making bruisers it costs less to get the natural resistances they need, but to balance that, they reduce all the haste on the items, so the haste scaling on the bruisers don't feel as apparent as they are. So it's not like you get absolutely smashed when a bruiser comes up to you and smacks you in the face now because of the haste.
Yeah.
That's basically
Yeah.
what's happening. And then to balance that out as well, they're increasing the price of the ADCs, so the power curve, a lot of ADCs are lower, but it doesn't really matter because ADCs are still going to get ambition and pain, and they were not touched in this patch. So the early game of ADCs are still equally as strong as they were before, except their late game is going to come later than they usually are. And then there's a window in the middle game where bruisers can take control of the game. This is the patch.
What
Okay.
about mages? Mages, man.
Fuck mages.
The mages got slightly shafted, but not as hard as ADCs.
Oppression lost a little bit of health, 25. Lost 15 power. Lost almost
What?
250 Vim.
That's a lot. 15 power?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Down to
sad.
25 from 40.
That's really sad. I loved that item before.
Rest in peace,
25
Kendra.
power isn't very good for a legendary item.
No, that's
No, that's less
crappy.
than most advanced items in the power tree, for sure.
So you're definitely using oppression now as the
Oh.
MR reduction
Buff.
item.
It was probably too good
MR
before.
shred.
Like
It probably was. I got it all the time. I love that item.
it was everything, right? It was health, damage, and penetration.
I
Yeah,
played Kindra, and it was like first item I wanted was the oppression.
Yeah. I tried her once or twice. It worked out.
You tried oppression Kindra. Is
No,
what you
just
mean.
Kendra in general. It's
Oh
good.
right, just,
You liked
just a
her?
few times.
Think you're
Yeah.
gonna play her again?
You should try her some more. Maybe stream it.
Well, we know your favorite shaper's Amaranth, and no matter what happens, you'll always be
You know
playing.
what? You know what, dude? I still play her from time to time. It works out. It works
Mhm.
out.
Order got an increase in 40 Vim, but as we talked about on the integrity, the toughness passive, so 20% basic attack reduction up from 15. God, order is really, really good.
That is great.
That is the armor item to end all armor items. Pain lost 5 power and almost 200 Vim in price. So
Even cheaper. Sweet.
Pain
So-
is even cheaper.
The money for buying Pain got taken away and then put into Dominance. That's how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, like, whatever.
Muzzy, rest in peace, Passion.
I know.
It's up to 3K now.
I know.
Oh, poor Amber, man. Poor
Big
Amber.
85 Vim increase there. Pestilence got a 5 power increase. Preservation got a 5 power increase. Preservation got a oh, that's the other.
It's the other
Form
items.
And the price got reduced to 2,700. So there's that.
Prosperity.
Prosperity
That's
increase of
actually pretty
300 Vim. It's
Preservation's really good now.
kind of like we were talking about with Command and Justice. You're going to be sitting on the Command a lot longer. You're going to be sitting on the Vigor a lot longer, getting 3,300 up for that Prosperity.
Prosperity stacks, though.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that's huge.
Oh, damn.
But you know what that means? All that means is because you're getting it later, it's compensating for how much later you're getting it. Because I bet that they liked the speed at which it filled up and went, like, at what point in the game, if you got it first item, it was at full stacks. So now this just goes, you get it a little bit later, but then it gets to full stacks at about the same time,
So you
maybe a
get
little
100
bit.
more
Well,
HP.
I thought you don't get it later because Vigor's price was reduced by 400.
Doesn't matter because the overall price was 3,000, right? And
Right.
now it's 300.
Right, that's
Oh,
what
I
I'm saying.
see.
So getting it later in the game, 300 Vim later, which is like...
Wait, time out. It's 3,300 and Vigor's 900, so the upgrade
That's
cost is
Same
is
thing.
2,000.
the
Yeah,
the
You're sitting
upgrade
on it for
cost.
a long time.
Yes.
Yeah, but the upgrade cost is 2,400 Vim.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a lot of Vim.
But you're
to
getting that
save
Vigor
up.
a lot
That's-
earlier.
but
And
that's-
life isn't 420 anymore.
I would rather buy an Integrity and a Conviction.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
And I
what
would
I'm
still
trying to
have
say.
spare cash.
You got to save up. It's not only the fact that it's that much; it's the fact that you have to save up that much Vim without upgrading anything. That's a black hole of stats where you're
Yeah.
waiting. That's crazy. That is a interesting choice.
So
Yeah, I'm a
this
six.
game is now advanced tier items. Like,
I'm gonna just sit on my Vigor and pick up my Defiance at the end. And I'm gonna be cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love Defiance, so I'm all
Yeah,
over
Muzzy,
it.
you were kind of cut out during that, but Defiance gives you another 100 health
Yeah.
now.
I read it,
900
yeah.
friggin' health, which is
900.
insane.
I know. Like,
Anyway.
now
Oh,
now Rampsy looks like a bad item, right? Right, John?
No,
we're getting
great
there.
at-
We got 2 more to go before we get to Rampancy.
Oh,
Pursuit
I know.
lost 5 power and got a little bit of a price decrease. Rage lost more power. Oh, but 600 Vim decrease is a lot.
That's huge.
But I haven't seen people buying Rage lately.
Because it actually might come back because
Now it's
you
so
get more
cheap?
armor earlier. No, it's because
And because so much more armor and on
Yeah.
integrity.
yeah, exactly. It might see
well,
that more.
before
Sure.
before also, I mean, it interacts poorly with Mage Slayer, right? So if you got a betrayal, you wouldn't want to get a rage too. If you got anything.
Oh yeah.
with
With
Mage
Will
Slayer.
Thief. Yeah.
Yeah, Will Thief. Sorry, not Mage Slayer. That's a different. Yeah. So like, this makes it like, okay, well, it's cheaper for that reason, maybe.
Rampancy lost 100 health, but it lost 300 Vim in price. John,
Oh,
you're,
John's
the,
happy.
you're the Rampancy expert.
Well, I mean, it now means that when I buy it, I don't have to spend as much money on it to activate that incredible power, and I get the 100 health from Defiance anyway. So
It just needs it's 600 more Vim, so I can pray that John gets another more effective item with that 600 Vim left over. So it's gonna be great.
well,
He won't.
the point of time when you buy Rampancy, it's like buying a Supremacy. It's not like Vim inefficient if you get it last.
Well, it actually has a lower health cap now because if you were to have a full build before with Rampancy, not health cap,
No,
power cap. If you had
Defiance balances it out.
oh,
because
did it
it-
with the 100, right?
Yeah.
Because that was in the build too, right? Your favorite build.
Right. Yeah.
Rebirth got 20 more health and increased to 3,300. Rest in peace, Rebirth. It was already, with the prevalence of Mortal Strike, it was
Yep.
already starting to fall out of flavor. People were kind of just sitting on growths and building other things, and now I don't see much benefit to rushing Rebirth anymore. Especially then Pain's even cheaper now and Corruption's even cheaper, so it's even easier to get Mortal Strike. So rest in peace, Rebirth. Maybe one day you will be reborn when you get buffed.
Hi.
Residence got 5 more haste, but increased to 3,300 Vim.
Oh my
so
God.
God,
I
range
hate this
AD.
game.
You have to get so
300 Vim.
bring back old Gladiator because it's the only way you're going to be able to afford a full build on ranged AD. You have to chain 36
Good lord.
stacks of Gladiator without breaking them in order to effectively get Vim. Holy shitballs.
Wow.
Yo, fair game for ADCs, boys.
Yeah, whatever. Take him out of the game. Why even need him? It's a stupid archetype anyway. It's old. It's
Yeah, I'll just
that's
play Verdant.
Dota has ranged ADs. We don't need that crap. That's that old style. What is this? 2006.
Dude, Retribution.
Who needs right clicks?
Richard, can we just move on to Retribution? Oh my god. This item was already super fucking good, and now it's fucking the best.
Good. Love it.
So I'm actually formatting the patch notes right now, and I couldn't understand what Pels just said. Can someone repeat that?
Retribution is good now, and you're even better.
It was
Okay.
always
Retribution
good,
is beautiful.
and now it's super good. It's like
Yeah.
godlike.
Yep. That 10%.
What's the
reduction.
change?
Because
The price went
Retribution
down
was always
240, and the health went up by 25, which is negligible. But
Oh, okay.
the price going down 240 is nice.
It's huge.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got hit with a
Stability.
Mage Slayer above 1,000 the other day. It was cool.
best feeling
Yep.
ever, dude.
It's funny.
Stability, the health went down to 300 from 335. The haste went down by 20, and the price went down by 265. to
It's
24.
funny because I'm still missing the MR buff on those 2 items, and
Yeah,
they're just
still
not
don't
working.
have them, Muzz.
Nope, not doing it.
Strife went down in price to 2,400 from 2,630.
Whoa.
Looks like that's the item I'm gonna buy.
Wow.
P carries. Fuck you all. I mean,
There you
this-
go.
Strife,
This is-
Strife is
It's gonna get
Strife
nerfed,
gating
and then
it.
I feel like I'm done. I'm out of
Wow.
here.
Strife is
Fuck.
going to be really good now.
Strife
yeah.
gate. Holy shit.
Subjugation lost 5 haste. Supremacy down 300 Vim cost.
Oh boy, a mage buff.
Sweet.
Yeah. Valor lost 10 power down to 30. Vengeance got 50 more health. The power it got 5 more power. So
Oh,
buffs to
AoE
Vengeance
build
and
buff.
Glory.
The AoE build for ADCs are buffed. Time
Yeah.
to play Kensu and Vex, boys. See ya.
Heyo, Vibrance increase in 100 health.
price.
5 more health regen, but ooh, the price went up. If the price didn't go up, I'd be like, this is something
Zeal.
I want to look at. But what did they do to Zeal? Okay.
Zeal.
Swap the rest.
The health went up by 75. The haste went up by 10. No longer gives power. No longer has the brilliance passive. It now builds out of clarity. So what the hell does it do?
They
So
swapped
it
Zeal
just
and-
reduces your abilities.
Yeah, it just reduces
Or
the.
CDR.
Oh, they didn't talk about what was already
the
on
clock.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just the
Yeah.
same. Just
So
without the buff.
Duress builds from the whatever inspiration, and now
Like, it's
Zeal
good
builds
now
from there.
because it doesn't randomly give you 5 power anymore, which is fucking brilliant.
Which was just like why you're just teasing me with this number. This number doesn't count. So what is our knee jerk
excited.
reaction? What is our surface reaction?
Games are gonna last longer.
Bruisers buffed, melee tacticians slightly buffed, but gotta see how they fare with the new amount of haste that mage tacticians can get. ADCs have a slightly similar early game as they had before, a weaker mid game, but still a very, very strong late game, except that late game is delayed far further. Mages are still strong, usually from the mid game onwards throughout till the end game. And bruisers can maybe last longer in team fights? Probably.
Yeah, I think the game's gonna last longer, and they have effectively reduced the snowball effect. I think snowball isn't going to be as prevalent.
Oh, I think these are steps to get there. I mean, this is a lot of changes. This is a lot
Yeah.
of balance.
It's
going
gonna
on
be
right
hard to feel. Everything is so cheap now in general. Like there's so many other than your big ticket items, everything else is cheaper, and like the power spikes are gonna be like all over the place. Like
We have to
you know,
relearn the game.
Well, I don't think it's that much, but it's
everything's a minute off in every direction. It's gonna be
yeah.
so
Yeah.
weird.
Adjusting to the natural flow is going to feel different. Your decision making when it comes to picking your advanced items is going to matter a lot more on what you're spending your Vim on, which is I think something Waystone has wanted to move towards, where your decision on what items you get are going to matter more. And until we figure out what those ideal items are We're gonna be in a state of flux for the next week or so. So should at least spark some interest.
That's
in,
all the time you get though.
in some of the
Because
games.
ranked is a week later. You get 1 week to figure it out. Because then it's ranked time.
Excited. I'm ranked.
What's your knee jerk to all this, Pork Chop? Are you pretty much in agreement with Tulse, or do you see something else here that we're all missing?
No, basically that's it. I just feel like early games can be a lot more important now because you can do so many more things with such cheaper items.
More important? Holy shit. That's scary. It's already super important.
I'm just scared because if I play against like 5 bruisers and I fucking accidentally die or my team dies and then they all pick up integrities and convictions, I'm gonna cry.
And yeah, game over.
My ranged AD is nuts. But I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to be buying lots of Impulse. That is going to be a lot of fun.
Corruption is my new jam.
My kids weren't bruisers already pretty good early, and then late game would die in a quarter second.
Only out of the jungle, because
Yep.
bruisers in lane were useless. I mean, you had to play so you can't make any mistakes, or the lane is done.
So you think it's a buff to bruiser jungles? Yes.
No, I think it's a buff to bruisers in lane with the advanced items
yeah.
being with the price changes like
the patch just go out? It says a client update is required.
Yeah, I just got that too.
I want to see how the
shit.
rest performs.
Oh baby.
Well, let's all patch right now. And
Oh baby.
who wants to do some after show games?
Sorry guys, MOBA Champions not gonna be updated till tomorrow. I gotta play this thing. Question. Life got a change in price. How many health potions can you buy now?
3.
3 on a life. So you can buy
Okay.
power in 3 pots, life in 3 pots.
Gotcha.
It's
Okay,
actually
cool.
huge.
So this is crazy. Wow. So they take forever to give us the patch notes and then give us the notes and the patch at the same time. Waystone, please.
That's awesome.
We can't
Please do
plan
this
for
from now
these
on.
things.
Please do this from now on, but give us the patch notes earlier.
Yeah,
that's
give
all.
us the patch notes so we can properly wrap our heads around this. But I think we did a pretty decent job of it. And
Yeah.
wow, even if you look at the subreddit, patch 37.1, please make sure you're sitting before reading these notes. There was a lot of wacky stuff in there, so.
That's no joke.
But I think this is good though, because I think this is kind of giving us a sense of what they're working towards with the progression update.
Yeah.
You can kind of get an idea of what where their heads at. No, Miyane, we can't discuss the Nisa changes in this patch.
Dude, you
The
should.
Nisa changes, or she's just even further down now.
You should just feel blessed that she was not been cut even deeper than she was before. Same thing with a Volek player. If there's a patch that goes by and Volek isn't nerfed, you should just thank your lucky stars and deposit another 20 grand in Waystone's bank account, because those are the punching bags of patch notes.
So it looks like they're trying to give people more options for things.
Yeah, I mean, were you guys feeling like your build orders were a little static before? Because
Yes.
I can tell you that I knew exactly what I was building every game,
Yeah.
all the time. It very rarely changed.
And Dawn Gate really shouldn't be a static build kind of game. It's all about that flexibility and whatnot. So it was either, are you building normally, or are you building race car haste troll build? That was your choices.
Do I need to build a Pain yet? Oh, they've almost got the rebirth. Okay, Pain first.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. That was the one. Who got Pain? Oh, nobody got Pain. Oh, we lose. Okay, gotcha.
Right.
Whoops.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see. Tomorrow
is there
will be
more?
Tonight or tomorrow will be a wonderful day. No, there's no more in the patch notes.
Yeah, we covered them all pretty well. I gotta for doing it kind of mid. It was nice because I had nothing else to talk about on the show. We were just gonna fill airtime.
Yeah.
So
Thanks a lot.
at least we got a patch to talk about.
Yeah, I was warned that we maybe get a patch. I was like, please before the show. Please before the show. It's like, oh no, fuck you guys. So I guess we talk about nothing. Not really. That's cool. I'm really glad that they decided to put this out a week before the supposed launch date of Ranked, because it's good to get time to experiment before.
No, and to clarify for anyone that's confused, this is not the progression patch, but I think this is kind of laying the groundwork for maybe we can start inferring some things about the progression patch through.
Well, we already know that early game has more options, so that's awesome, because we had the issue we talked a lot about that.
Oh, whoops! I hit the wrong button.
Well, that's the thing, right? If there's holes in this patch, maybe those are the things that are changing in progression update, and maybe we have a terrible experiments for the next 4 weeks. I mean, like maybe this is a bad thing.
Well, why do you say 4 weeks?
Huh?
You think we're getting?
7 weeks, 10 weeks.
You
I just
want to shave your head for that?
no, I do not.
You
I've learned my
want to put some
lesson.
money on it? You want to put some hair on it?
No, I was literally just extrapolating. Could be.
I
fun.
know you were. I'm just messing with you.
There's only so many false promises.
And for everyone wondering how come ranked isn't here, they said ranked was coming in the next content patch. And this is patch 37.1, so this isn't a content patch.
We're
really?
still assuming-
Feels like it.
Really?
Like,
It's not, because they're not adding anything that wasn't in the game. It's a balance
true.
tuning patch.
That's true. It's a tuning patch, yeah.
So
I mean,
Remember, guys, what's the item that has moved to clarity now?
Duress.
Builds in a different spot? Duress. Builds... No, wait. Was it
I mean,
Duress?
Zeal. Zeal is moved to
Zeal
clarity.
moves. It's moved, so...
yeah,
Just in case.
all those people who buy Zeal, which
Yeah.
maybe there's one of you out there, but
Me!
Zeal Fate Freya.
Yeah,
the-
good
well,
luck with that,
let,
right?
don't
I
I
talk
used
about
to
that.
do that,
Zeal.
man.
Get
I
that
did
ult
Zeal
on a
Fate
15-second
Duress.
cooldown.
No, if you do Zeal Fate for Duress, I had like a Duress proc every second. Every 3 attacks was a Duress proc back in the day.
like no joke though, the problem with that item is like I would love to build it if it gave a lot of offensive stats so that my 6-item build was still good, but I can't.
Right.
And
Right.
it's always going to be a problem. It's like if I'm playing against another AD carry and he's on 4 items, I'm on 4 items, and one of my items is Zeal, I lose. Like I don't know. I'd like to see that item changed in such a way. Give me a valuable combat stat, even if it's something dumb that like literally only works on 6 items, like percentage haste or something. I don't care. But like right now with no power and like health, I don't see it. And I
So-
love that item.
Either way, we have to wrap up here as we come up on the 2-hour mark. But
Wow.
overall, there's a lot of stuff here. I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of feedback for it next week on Money Pigs. As far as things to look forward to for this week, keep your eye on any updates for the Dignitas Scan Invitational that's happening on Saturday. I believe it's 1 p.m. Eastern time to start this Saturday. I will be casting along with Sporesmith. We should see, some really top-tier play in that. I don't know what's going to happen as far as Tournament Realm or this being updated, or if we'll be playing on this patch or any of that stuff. So keep your eyes peeled for that sort of stuff. Does anyone else have any announcements or anything like that?
Yeah, the Lilin Guide contest starts now.
Lilin Guides. So get your Lilin
Right now,
Guides
go.
out. And now this is a perfect opportunity to anyone with a guide, you might have to go and revise them with all these crazy-ass item changes. So
Jesus.
Be
Yep.
aware of that.
I promise I won't delete your guides like I deleted your pick'ems.
yeah,
So,
thanks, John, for that. My pick'em
No.
got deleted.
no problem.
But it's
Uh,
okay because I didn't have LFDH in the final, so I didn't lose anything.
Me neither.
we're gonna run a practice pick'em sometime this week to make sure all the bugs are perfectly fixed in the system so that the Dignitas tournament can work.
Yeah,
So stay tuned for
should
that.
be cool. So thank you guys very much for joining us tonight for the Money Pigs livecast. Thank you, PorkCh0p, for coming on and rapping with us. I know we're a little crazy, but yeah, I thought you did a good job. So thanks, man.
Just a random amount of crazy.
Yeah. Anyone, or feel free to follow all of us on the Twitters and the Twitches. PorkCh0p, that's with a 0. PorkCh0p92. So give him some love.
0.
Other than that, keep your eyes on the subreddit for any other major changes and announcements. And other than that, go play some Dawngate and let's put this patch through the ringer and let Waystone
Try it together.
and then let the salty QQ threads on the Reddit just let them
Yeah,
form
they'll
naturally.
flow.
It's gonna be great. But so maybe the
Slowly.
Duress Gate is closed. We shall see.
Hopefully.
Impulse Gate opens. Good night, bozos.
See.
Cheers.